Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
What up? Good morning. Welcome back to another episode of the Chad Smith Podcast. My name is Chad Smith, and today is Thursday, May 12th, 2022, and I'm joined, as always, by my awesome co-hosts from California. Please welcome Sonny Conway and Spooky Morales.
What's up, everybody? Good morning.
What's up, Sonny? What's up, Spooky?
We're getting closer to the weekend.
That's why I love Thursdays.
I bet you do.
Every day's the weekend for me.
One day till Chop Shop.
Oh, yeah.
How have you guys been doing? How's this week been going?
Trying to wake up still.
Oh, the week has been fantastic, man. It was stressful and anxious at the beginning of the week, but then towards the middle of the week, it started rolling. And we had a great time at Luis Montes' tribute on the UFO Garage.
Yes, guys. Make sure you go check out the UFO Garage show that they did for Luis Montes.
Come down a touch on the music, Chad.
Come down a touch.
Yeah, just a little bit.
We're trying something new here today, guys. We're going to have some music playing while we're saying hi to everybody. But
Music Nazi.
I'm not Alien Girl 111 level. I don't know where to have all my levels so far.
If it's too loud, you might be too old.
Whoa. What up, Jake Smith? How's it going, man? We haven't found Linda yet, but we are going to keep searching. What's going on, First Floor Audio? How's it going, Lee? Good morning, buddy. UFO Ogles has been waiting for 14 hours in the chat. I'm so sorry to make you wait that long, but I'm so glad that you waited, and now it's time. Finally made it. Alien Girl 111. What's up, Amy? Good morning. I hope you're having a good day this morning so far.
Boom, boom, boom.
Boom, 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 boom.
My morning
boom.
starts off right with the coffee kicks in.
Today's music is brought to you by First Floor Audio. He's got some new albums uploaded over there, so go over there and check out his playlists. See all of his new music is uploading. Yeah, Lee is in the chat. Let's see. Brassel, how's it going, man? I so want to call in. Well, today is your day.
Ooh.
Today is Experiencer Call-In Day. So if you guys are listening and you'd like to call in a little bit later on, we're going to have people calling in.
That's right. I'll be posting Chad's phone number right there in chat.
Yep. Personal phone number. It's going to get forwarded directly to Sonny's phone. She says, "Oh, my audio levels are never even." The chat lets me know. Yeah, the chat's always like, oh, talking about the music. It's either too loud, too quiet. Ken Pass. How's it going, Ken Pass? Good morning. Good to see you. Parasolo, good to see you as always. Good morning.
Dude, I'm sitting right on top of this heater this morning, Chad. I'm freezing out here.
I can't believe it's that cold in there.
It's 45 in here. 47
Well, damn.
outside.
Well, damn. We got 1 foot NS or 15D in the chat. Boom. Bam. Not boom. Bam. Bam.
Hey, we can boom.
Oh, not JoJo. I'm screwing everything up. Bam.
He's
Bam.
back.
Yeah, guys, JoJo Bone is back this week. He'll be back on Saturday. Chat is too needy. Chat doesn't know how hard it is to run all that technology. Yeah, there's a lot going on over here. I mean, we got 2 monitors. There's a lot going on. Jeanette Sanchez, good to see you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jeanette. Spooky's neighbor.
619.
Is that the area code over there?
Yeah, in San Diego City it is.
Bougie City, it's 619.
Well, up here where I live, it's 760. That's the North County.
Oh, okay. Bougie County.
Oh, I see you got that Chad Smith podcast coffee mug.
Yeah, do you like that?
I'm rocking a little UFO today because I'm so happy about the shows we did this week with UFO Garage. Excited?
Yeah, guys, I didn't have anything prepared as far as like videos or anything that UFO Garage played, but I wanted to dedicate this show today to Luis Montes, and any donations that come in through Buy Me a Coffee will directly go to his family. So,
did you see the post from Bree on Facebook?
Nah, maybe.
That Friday while we're doing the Chop Shop,
yeah,
the family's going to be having an ocean tribute, and they're going to live stream it at 5:00.
Awesome.
I
That's
wonder if
cool
they
that
mean
it's gonna be
5. You know what though? I don't know what time zone she's talking about, but she might be talking about Eastern. I didn't double check that.
Yeah, because that is probably what they're in, right? Eastern?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they definitely are.
Well, that's pretty cool that it's going to be live streamed. A lot of people are like, it's going to be a closed service and
she also gave us
private
shout outs for an awesome show on the UFO Garage Tuesday night.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, I'm glad that got shared out early enough where everybody on his page was able to be there too.
Oh, that was awesome, man.
Yeah, to have people call in that knew him and to share their stories and experiences and life stories with us.
We
awesome.
weren't expecting that. We thought it was going to be just us talking about Lewis and all the fun times, and for his family to join in, it was too good to be true.
Yeah, I listened to it again last night. It was awesome. Very good show. I'm glad that they did that. Well, let me think here. We got 11 people in the chat right now. I'm going to drop the StreamYard link. I guess I'll just drop it in the chat today. I haven't done that in a while, but we'll drop her in the chat. And if anybody wants to call on in, you can use... you could do just video or just audio if you'd like. When you click on the link, it'll give you it'll give you an option to mute the mic and mute your camera, or shut your camera off, and then you'll have to put your name in there. So you have the option to mute or shut your camera off if you'd like to do just audio. That's cool too. So drop that in. Boom. It's officially in the chat room. So if anybody has any experience or stories they'd like to share with us, please feel free to hit the StreamYard link right there in the chat. And you can hop on in. Good morning. How's it going, Bobby? Good to see you.
Hey. I seen Bobby doing readings yesterday on Cass's channel.
Yeah, she did a great job.
Oh, man. Her readings are the best. That's why I was so disappointed. I asked for a reading in the chat, and then as soon as I said it, I got a phone call. And I had been waiting for her.
Really?
Yeah, it was like the worst timing, but I had to take it.
We happen to know Bobby. We could just get her in here.
She's the best.
All right, well, we have our first guest. I'm going to mute this music here. Get rid of that. And I'm going to bring up our first guest, so please welcome for the first time, Ken Pass. How's it going, Ken?
Good. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Great.
How's it going?
Where are
Going
you from?
pretty good. I'm originally from California.
Okay.
That's where we're at.
Yep, that's where these two guys are at. I'm over in Michigan, but these two guys are in California.
That's cool. So you want me to tell you what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, this takes place back in 1981 in Mendocino County, California. I was going to a summer camp for kids. It's called Camp Mendocino. It's a boys and girls club summer camp.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, I went on to one of these activities called a 50-mile hike. It was an extended stay of a hike. We had these big, heavy mountain backpacks in Mendocino County.
Okay.
And on our first night, we got abducted. The 7 of us. There were 3 boys. We were 3 boys, 1 little girl, 2 men staff members, and a female staff member. The 7 of us were abducted. We were taken to some underground place. They took out my right eye. They shoved something up and through my nose into my head, and I heard a crunch. They put
Jeez.
something in my ear. I still have the lump and the scar. And they marked with this pen wand device. They burned into my skin the Orion star system. I still have it right here on my right side. I have all the pictures of this, all the proof, and it's on my Twitter. It's on.
Ken,
Yeah.
could I get you to just do me a favor and tell me like what you experienced from the very beginning? Like how did they present themselves to you? What did you guys see and experience?
Well, from the very beginning, we came across the dead deer, animal mutilation. The dead deer have half of its face removed, its tongue. There was the skin of the fur was removed, but there was like a thin membrane holding all the guts from spilling out on the ground. The staff members were talking to themselves. Us kids, we were like, "Oh, cool! Look, it's a dead deer." Being kids, I never seen a deer before, let alone a dead one. And they didn't take us back to camp. We kept on going, and we set up camp. We didn't have no sleep. We didn't have no tents. We had sleeping bags to sleep in. The usual marshmallows. Campfire food songs. Zipped up the sleeping bag, and we later on were escorted. We were walking like zombies, not under our control, right into the craft. So.
What you described with that deer, that skin, you said it looked like a thin layer of skin holding it together. We call that the mesh.
Okay. I never seen stuff like that. I was just a little kid.
If you took it off and you hold it up, it looks like a net. And when you make deer meatballs, if you wrap the meatballs in a piece of that, it's fat and they'll fry when you fry them up. It makes them crispy. But it is very, very hard to remove that mesh, and to leave it on the animal with just that holding it together would be damn near impossible. Like, I don't know how you would have a
That's
cut
what we
that
saw.
wide.
I mean, it was just laying in a little path that we were on, and a little bit further, there was a man's wallet. It was an orange Velcro 80s style wallet, and there was no man around, just a wallet. It was looking like a Mexican man. I chucked it to the left side of the field. So, no prejudice or anything like that. But this was back in 1981. His credit card and his driver's license were there, but there was no man.
Huh.
Wow.
But there was a dead deer. But later on that night, we got abducted into the craft, and all that shit happened to me. And here's the kicker. I was driving the UFO, pushing buttons, a part of the collective. And we were documented and recorded. I have all the proof of this 10,000 years ago back in time. Also, in ancient Transylvania, 500 years ago, above a church. I got all the proof of everything. I was driving a UFO.
Man, that is so freaking cool.
I got all the evidence. I got pictures of what the craft looks like.
What about the other 6 people that were with you? Do you keep in contact with them? And did they have that same
I haven't. You see, this was we were made to forget all accounts that have happened to us, and it basically took 40 years for me to remember, because I didn't. I kept on seeing these flashes of memory coming in my head, but I didn't think nothing of it. Growing up, and I seen on the TV news, about UFOs, and I didn't even consider it. I didn't even think about it. Just being a kid, a teenager growing up in the 80s, I didn't think about it. I was too busy with arcades and video games and girls, and skipping school. And, we never contacted each other after that, because we didn't remember. We didn't remember each other's names. We didn't know, our names. I mean, we didn't know each other's names. We didn't remember anything. But here it is later. And here's also the big kicker. I physically died over 10,000 years ago back in time. My body lay dead. My spirit went to heaven. And I'm capable of taking pictures of myself in heaven while I'm on earth doing one of these, the ultimate selfie.
Really?
That's how you know I'm telling the truth. Because how many humans do you know of can take pictures of themselves in heaven while they're on Earth at the same time?
So you still have the
None.
pictures.
I have the pictures on my Twitter. I have the pictures on my YouTube channels, on Facebook, everywhere.
What's your YouTube channel?
My YouTube channel is Kenneth Pass, Pass, and my Twitter account is Bahana, the True White Brother, Bahana, the True White Brother. That's me.
Jamie, could you bring that up for us, please?
I keep forgetting that my name's Jamie when that happens. For a second, I was like, Jamie's here?
And here's another kicker. Here's another kicker. I went traveling back in time over 800 million years because I was pushing the buttons like a kid would do at a console. Guess what I did? I had sex. I was forced to mate with a first woman beast who was covered in hair, who was not human yet.
Good Lord.
And a giant held me in his hand like this. She was jumping up at his feet because she wanted to eat me up because he had something in his hand and she thought it was food. And the first words that were spoken in perfectly clear English 800 million years ago were these words: "Put me down." And he puts me high up on a rock so she couldn't munch me out.
Man, that is so interesting.
Her likeness was recorded onto solid rock from inside of the craft with the laser system onto solid rock. Her likeness, and I got pictures of where she was. I got pictures of the remains of the giant. Everything. I mean, I fully went missile ballistic on getting all of the evidence the best I could, even by going there back to where I once was, 800 million years ago. And it was all there. I'm recorded on petroglyphs.
Wow, that's awesome. And so they have a laser imaging system that they use to cut rock with?
Yeah, it comes out of the bottom of the craft. It looks like a point like this.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like that.
Do you think
it glows red? It glows red right before it fires.
Okay. Do you think that might have the same type of, or that technology might be the same type of technology that was used to etch the stones for the pyramids?
Well, yeah. Also, due to the fact that, you see, they're very highly evolved with their telepathy and their spirituality, they embedded it into their technology. Just like we did bats with radars, they did the same thing, but with their capabilities of their telepathy, and in their spirituality, they embedded the technology the same way.
Oh, okay. That does make sense with the bat analogy. I like that.
So they can talk to you inside of your mind from inside of the craft, amplify it, and they could be 10,000 feet in the air, and you think you're hearing God, and you can't see anything anywhere, and you're like, who's talking to me?
Right. It's just the voice in your head.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Man, I wish you were still in California. I'd love to have some beers with you.
Well, I'd love to have some beers with you, too. I got all the... Look at my living room. It's full of pictures and proof of stuff. I got pictures of extraterrestrials that I've taken pictures of myself all along my walls.
Would you mind showing us like 2 or 3 of them up close?
Now, what's your favorites?
Yeah, your favorite ones.
Got a couple.
Let me get out my goodie box. Here's a picture of me in heaven.
That's what I'm talking about. Here, I'll make your screen a little bit bigger here.
Yeah. All right.
That's a picture of me in heaven. I'm actually standing on top of my head. Those are my wings.
Whoa. That is interesting.
All right, here, let me get a picture of an extraterrestrial. These pictures now, they only come from me. They don't come off the internet or anything. So,
yeah.
Look at this. Look at this. This is what I call the proof. And it smells good. It smells good.
Yeah.
It smells so good to have it.
Proof does smell good.
Yeah, it smells like victory for me.
Smells like justice, huh?
Heck yeah.
That's awesome.
Sorry, I didn't mean to say that.
You're fine. You're fine.
Let me get a picture of them. A good one. This is a little bit darker.
Oh, wow. Man, that is crazy looking. That's a cloud?
No, that's an extraterrestrial in heaven.
Oh, okay. So that's like okay, so we're looking at like a light being entity.
No, it's a gray. That's what they really look like.
Okay.
See the nose?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Different. See these big eyes?
Yeah.
You can even see the pupils. Like that's so you can see the damn pupils.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, man.
That's just you see divinity. What everybody doesn't know is that you have to mirror image the picture to see what the hell you're looking at. So I got a lot of that. I got a lot of pictures of myself in heaven. I got so many damn pictures. You guys just gave me a pop quiz. You're like, let's see. I'm like, okay, let's do this shit.
Yeah, a little impromptu podcast episode.
No, brother, just share with us what you feel comfortable with. No pressure at all.
No, I'm
rush,
getting it.
nothing, man.
But we
It
are
takes a
fascinated.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know. Here's the lady's staff member's wristwatch ring that we lost in the second. Where is it? In the second Ming Dynasty. It was sealed in a vault that's been closed for 500 years. That's her wristwatch ring. The lady's staff member's wristwatch ring in where we were in the second Ming Dynasty 600 years ago.
So she lost it 600 years ago. So it got sealed in a vault, and you guys recovered it again.
I didn't recover it. It just came up. Someone found it, and it came up, and I was like, "That's her wristwatch ring," because I was hiding inside of the vault. I was scared out of my mind. You know, I was running around with the inside of the Emperor's Palace. You know, the Forbidden City.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 500 years ago.
Is that what? Whoa. Yeah, that's interesting, man. Looks a lot similar to the other one.
Yep.
Hey, Chad, I got to step away for 1 second.
No problem, Sonny. Spooky,
And
hold
I
down
got
for it.
pictures of me standing next to the devil himself in heaven.
Yeah, so far Sonny doesn't have good track record of stepping away for a second.
Yeah, it's usually about 5 seconds.
Hey, I dropped my nug. I got to find it.
Oh, yeah, that's a priority.
I got a lot of stuff. Gosh, I got a lot of stuff.
Well, Ken, I've got some other people waiting backstage,
Okay.
but I appreciate you coming on and sharing that. That's a vulnerable state to be in, to share a experience like that. So I appreciate you coming on and helping and sharing your experience with us.
Yeah, been here for 800 million years. And I know a lot of stuff.
Well, keep on keeping on, buddy.
Yeah. All right,
And,
you guys.
Thank you very much, Ken.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Ken.
Thank you. Thank you so
Yep.
much, man.
Later, buddy. All right, so that was Ken Past. Thank you so much for coming on in and sharing your experience. And next up, we have got the one, the only. Welcome back, Bobby Stout.
Yeah.
Wow, what an intro. Thank you, Chad.
How's it going, Bobby?
Good. Hi, guys.
So good to see you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was a cool surprise to see you on Cassie's channel last night. That was awesome.
Oh, man, it was wonderful. I'm so sad I didn't get to you, Spooky, but, another time.
Yeah.
You know,
Definitely.
I know I've shared my story before, and it's not nearly as spectacular as Mr. Past, but I was absolutely an experiencer from a very early age, very, very young. And at first, I didn't really know what was happening. All I knew is there was this bright light, and then I would find myself in I'd wake up in the backyard, I'd be in a different part of the house. I knew something was going on. And it also affected, which I have read through a lot of novels when I researched, is when this would happen, and it would affect the electricity basically in the house. Like I would suddenly wake up in the bathroom and turn on the lights, and there would be no power. It would just be dark. And it wasn't until I was in my high school years that it was the first time I think they allowed me to see them, because I truly believe I was a study. I believe I was studied and followed throughout my whole life. And I was laying in bed, and I had shared a room with my sister, and she was like dead out. I mean, she never woke up for any of this, which always kind of shocked me. But I woke up and my door opened and the Greys came in. I was completely surrounded. There was like a little group of them, and they all looked like they were kind of like monks with hoodies on. Very strange, but like you said, the big eyes and all that. But then there was this insectoid type, and it was definitely the leader. It was like he was organizing the situation, and he was standing in my doorway, like beckoning, like Ahab on the whale. I mean, it just kind of flipped me out. And when I looked at that and looked at the Greys, then the same thing happened, that brilliant, bright white light. And then I was gone. So I haven't had the privilege of knowing really what they were doing. I just know they were doing. I figured it out. And it happened all across the U.S., different locations where I've lived. I mean, this started in Southern California. And like I said, I was very young. I mean, I don't even think I was in school yet. And so they just periodically come, and I've noticed a bigger, as I have proceeded and gone on in age, the times of the visitation have gotten farther apart and fewer in between. And it's been a number of years now. So I don't know if they just kind of wrapped it up. Said, okay, we followed her long enough, because I haven't had an experience for a number of years now.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've heard that before, where people have had experiences and it's been following them, and then all of a sudden it just drops off. It's like, we're done. We got what we needed.
Yeah, I really do believe that was the case. And I think maybe because of the fact that I was so young when they started, that it worked really well in my head. They were very good at sparing me. I really think they were benevolent, whoever these ones were, because I never had fear. I never felt abused or fearful. I was just curious. I think what scared me the most was when I just tried to turn the lights on and they wouldn't work. And I'd read that in Whitley Strieber's book Communion. He describes that as well, where for some reason they affect the electrical system, the power grids or whatever. So, it's been really interesting. And I just add that to my repertoire of unique experiences that I've had in my life.
So do you credit that for the reason why you have such a high intuition and your abilities?
I believe they gave that to me or added that to me, but I also had that near-death experience when I was very young as well. And that I saw it completely. So when that happened, it's funny. It may have been around the same time frame that I was getting the visitations when I had that near-death. Because that I see completely. But like I said, I California, New Mexico, Tennessee, let me see, in Texas. I mean, I've been all over the place, and they would show up. So I do think they are studying us. I believe that. Or I don't know. I always kept feeling, and from a very young age, that we are their children. That we are their children. That, and there is the theory of the missing link. Right? There's the missing link. Well, maybe that's the missing link, Right.
That's what I was going to ask you. When they were in your bedroom and there was like the smaller Greys and then the one standing in the doorway, did it feel more like they were there on a field trip, like they were there to see what they don't normally see, or was it them, or did it seem like they were there for like a reason to like recruit you?
Well, no, I think because I was young and well, by then though, I was in high school when I really saw, I think it was I think they were just being generous and trying to make me feel comfortable, because I never felt threatened. I didn't feel threatened. There was just curiosity. And I'd say that there was probably at least 6 of the Greys. Maybe it took that many to handle me at that. Who knows?
They weren't sure what they were getting into.
Yeah, and then just that tall, just skinny, long, spindly arms, with the with the big head and the eyes and everything. But that one looks so different than the other ones. So there must be, from what I understand or what I can conceive in my brain here, is that there are different races that work together.
Right.
But like I said, I never felt threatened. I wasn't frightened, and I think that's because they were kind. They were kind to me, because I don't have that. I don't have photographs. I don't have proof. I don't have any of that stuff, but I do have that very specific memory when I was allowed to see, them when they came for me. But all the rest is just bright white light.
Yeah, the bright white light. That's interesting too, because everything is light.
Well, yeah.
So it's like that must have been the highest of the like the highest level of light. Seems like if it was
how Papa Willie described when he said he had his near-death experiences.
All bright white light.
Everything was just bright light, but there was no light on. But the walls were emitting light. People were emitting light. The table was emitting light. The floor. Everything was lit up.
Oh, that's
there was no lights. He couldn't see any lights. Just everything was lit up.
Yeah.
I had that when I had the near-death experience. I felt like I was going through a vortex of some kind, like my soul, my energy shot through this, vortex, as the best way I could describe it. And there was just that brilliant, pure white light. But then when that was, finished, I was aware of the fact that I had drowned. I saw my own body in a swimming pool. I could see everybody at the party. I was like floating above it. So with that, I think it just wasn't my time. It was a learning experience, to say the least.
Yeah.
But,
and Bobby, after the near-death experience, how soon was it that you had experiences with the Greys?
Right away.
You mean the same moment, the same?
No.
Day?
I'd say within that year, within that time frame.
Bobby's phone's doing that famous thing again. Where your energy's going too crazy. It's your energy. You got to get some tinfoil hat to put on when you're on the phone with us.
Why do I always do this to you guys?
I don't know, but when you leave and come back, it goes away for about 20 minutes. I don't know.
Well, I don't want to hog the spotlight here. There might be other people, but.
Oh no, you're the only one up right now. Here, I'll kick you out, and then you can click the link back again.
Yeah.
I didn't even hear what she said.
I have a clip of the end of the show. If you go to 30 seconds where Ben starts the, I can send that via messenger if you want to pull it up.
Okay, yeah, we can do that.
Talk about that too.
For sure.
Explain to everybody that we didn't put that in at the end of the show.
Yeah, man, that's the most interesting thing about that whole show.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, probably got to refresh everybody about what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's why I'm pulling it up.
Yeah, guys, we're talking about Luis Montes, who we lost this week, over the weekend, actually, who was out on a boat and went swimming and did not resurface. So UFO Garage did an awesome dedication show to him. Was it last night?
It was Tuesday night.
Tuesday night. I'm getting all my days mixed up. But yeah, that was Tuesday night. They did an awesome job over there. And then Spooky and Sonny both were there. Unfortunately, I was at work, still on midnights. But yeah, so awesome dedication show to Lewis over there on Tuesday.
Man, they did an excellent job. And then I got messages from people that Lewis knew thanking us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Telling me to thank them.
Yeah, it was tough to listen to at work. That was the night that everybody else called in, though. I was the only one at work, so I could just let the tears fly. I didn't really care.
I tried to bring you on the phone, and then my phone started dying, so it wasn't going to last.
I was fine until Joe said something, and then you could hear it in his voice where he was starting to lose a little bit, and then I lost it. I'm like, nope, I can't see Joe cry.
Yeah, at the end, like when you get that and you play it, 30 seconds is in that clip is where he starts the outro.
Okay.
And you'll notice if you watch their faces, because like watch Willie's face when Lewis comes over and says what he says, you'll even see my face like, oh, you know, like, man, I can't believe Ben put that in there. You know,
It sounds so edited.
you
Like, it
see
sounds
Ben-
perfect.
You see Ben looking around trying to figure out what the hell's going on, because he didn't bring anything in and he didn't take it back out. He didn't do anything. That just comes on at the end. Perfect time, the perfect thing to say.
Yeah.
It was
Very strange.
strange. And we spent a long time, huh, Spooky, in the back afterwards trying to figure out what happened. And
I think in a nutshell, we all pretty much agreed that we had just had an experience together.
Mhm.
yep, that was our conclusion after trying to, I mean, every technical possibility there was, I think Ben and Joe were going through, and there was no explanation for why it happened or where it came from, why it said that, what.
I got it all queued up if you want to. I'll pull it up right now.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, guys.
Are you hearing it, Chad? Because we can't hear
Oh,
it.
yeah, you know what? I played it on a totally different window, and it's not the one that's shared. So that was dumb. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Love it, dude. God damn, that's always makes me.
Yeah, I'm like
Gives me a little.
fighting back tears this entire night, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Love y'all.
Heck yeah.
Thanks for showing up and just showing the love and again, guys, let's send them off in a good way and get some positivity out there, man.
Let's do it, man.
Yeah.
Let's roll that music, man.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, so this is the point where he plays the outro music like normal, but Lewis jumps in and says a little message, but that was unplanned and not edited into the outro.
We did not add Lewis's voice to this outro song. I didn't play anything up to the mic. I didn't add it. No one else did that either. And Ben and Joe did not put that in there.
No.
I thank him because I'm a happy fucking person now. And I'm not suicidal. And I love my life. And I thank him for that. You know?
Yes. Hey, Lewis, we love you, man. Rest in peace, brother. We're always gonna be here for you, and you're always gonna be here for us, man. So, hey, man, this has been another episode.
Yeah.
Love it, dude. God.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, we did not put that in there, and we can't figure out how it got in there. It just is in there.
But it wasn't just the fact that it was Lewis.
Let's
It was what he
roll that
said.
music, man.
Yeah.
Here we
I
go.
thank him because I'm a happy fucking person now. And I'm not suicidal. And I love my life. And I thank him for that. You know? And
Yes. Hey, Lewis,
Loving
we
life.
love you, man.
Man. Ben's face is
I
like,
know.
how was that
And then-
playing?
That wasn't supposed. You're not supposed to stop the music after that either. Joe stopped that music and started talking to Lewis like he was right there with us.
Yeah,
Eh,
that was interesting, man. When it played, it sounds so perfectly edited. I just assumed that was in there. I mean, that was part of the outro song.
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
crazy.
you can go play their outro song right now if you get on Ben's computer and
Yeah.
launch everything. You can go hit that outro song, and Lewis's voice is not going to come over it. It's just going to play the outro song. It's
Yep.
not.
Yeah, like if we'll go to Thirsty Thursday.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, like I could if we physically went into UFO Garage right now and I pulled everything up and hit the outro song, it's just gonna play that outro song. You won't hear his voice.
Right.
Right before the show. It'll be a surprise.
Yeah, it just sounds
Love you.
right here.
That's right. We'll see y'all later. Love you. Bye.
Love you guys.
All right. We're still jamming.
I can listen to that song all day. I like that one.
Yeah.
Get that funk, man.
We're still here.
We're still here. Go over there and subscribe if you're not already, but I'm sure everyone in here already is. Man, those guys are something else, huh? 3,000 subscribers.
Man, they're fucking awesome.
When did they start? When did this whole thing get going?
I think it's like
2019, huh?
6-9 weeks ago, something like that.
9 weeks ago.
6 or 9 weeks ago.
Yeah, those guys know what they're doing over there. We're just getting started over here. We're just getting started.
There's always like an extra thing.
Big things are coming. Isn't that right?
That's right.
All right, well, I'm going to drop the link one more time. Well, I'm going to drop it a few more times, I'm sure. But if anybody is just joining us and would like to call in with... What was that, Sonny?
I was killing something.
Oh.
I was definitely getting it away from me. I don't know how the hell that thing got up. It was a wind scorpion up here on my desk.
A wind
He
scorpion?
crawled up my leg and up my shirt and just crawled on this desk, actually, yeah.
What is a wind scorpion?
They're these real fast spiders. And
do
got
they bite?
Big ass 4 pinchers. But
No.
I'll pull a picture up and send it to you so you can see what it is.
I couldn't live it.
You'll
down
see
there.
why I was jumping and smacking right now.
Yeah, California spiders like to bite.
Just
Just a warning.
They call them vinaigrette spiders because if they bite you, they say it tastes like vinegar. I've seen a guy pick up the biggest one I've ever seen, like on one of the Discovery Channel documentaries, and hold that thing and stick it to his arm. All it did was pinch the shit out of him, really. And it couldn't even break his skin. But they got these fangs on them, and they're terrifying. They put their legs up, and their fangs open up all wide. If
Damn.
you try to get them. I'll just send you a picture real quick.
That sounds crazy.
We can share that with everybody. Give me 2
Arden
seconds.
says... Oh, that was from... Okay, never mind.
That Ken Pass, that picture was the guy that we were talking to?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. I just made the connection.
He says, yeah, I'm in Tennessee. I wish I was in California for beers and tacos.
And ice cream, sis?
There's always Taco Bell, right? Isn't Taco Bell just as good? Or
Oh, yeah. That's authentic. That's authentic.
that Doritos Locos Tacos?
If I could just say one thing real fast. Look at
Go ahead.
Everybody, it's not easy. It takes a lot of nerve and bravery to come on here and talk about what's happened in your life.
Yeah. It does.
So if you went and told your story to somebody, maybe you don't expect them to believe you, but you would at least hope that they would give you that mutual respect and courtesy without slamming them and saying something nasty about them. It takes a lot of courage to do that. So I appreciate anybody that comes in here and, wants to share stuff with us. We are as open-minded as it gets. And we just, really appreciate people that want to share.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that, Spooky, because, yeah, I totally agree. I just didn't think to say that. But, yeah, anybody that...
Was that you? Did you pull that up?
No.
It just jumps up there when you share?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We'll finish.
But,
I'm sorry. You don't have to stop.
whatever I was saying. It does take a lot of courage. But, yeah, we are definitely open-minded, and this is a judgment-free zone, just like the famous gym that uses that same slogan. Judgment-free zone. So, yeah, if you guys want to hang out with us and tell us your experience or story, or even if you have just a cool story about like going through a haunted house or something, any kind of story like that will do. So just go ahead and click the link I just dropped in the chat. That'll bring you into StreamYard. You have the option to shut your camera off if you'd like before you come in. So if you don't want to use your camera, you can always just do audio only. Unidentified S4. How's it going, Anthony?
What's up, man?
I cannot hear the name of his show without thinking
hearing
of that damn song.
I know. I was gonna start singing it. You heard me this morning with Alien Girl. As soon as we see her, I start singing her song.
You got to kind of warm up the vocals if you're going to be doing it unidentified S4, though.
Yeah, that gets up there in the octaves. Jeez, we have 30 people in here right now. How's it going, everybody? Good morning. 30 people in the chat.
I'm gonna show you what a wind scorpion is.
Oh, sweet.
This is a wind scorpion. That was what was crawling up me right here.
Nope. I'm staying in Michigan.
They do when they get pissed off. This is him mad. See,
come on.
Yeah. When he gets mad, they put their legs back and they open their fangs, and they're
just waiting for you to step on it.
Something like that. Oh, we call these right here. We call this the child of the earth. Children of the earth. Let's see if this one will open. Oh, that's not going to open.
He needs no introduction. I'm just going to bring him up. Oh, nope. As soon as I went to go bring him up, he left. That was weird. We had Brasso backstage, but he didn't want to stay. He didn't want to wait, I guess.
You see Jamie's comment?
Oh, boy. Jamie's comment.
He's seen that spider and got the hell out of here, huh?
We are pre-gaming the Chop Shop tomorrow with a Friday the 13th stream. Yes!
Yeah, they're back. They're back.
I've got the reminder on for that. Definitely.
Toddy Waba, be there.
How about this? How about I didn't know
good morning, Jamie.
Toddy Waba was. Everyone was talking about it, and I was like, sound a whole lot like my friends Bree and Jamie's show.
What's Toddy Waba? What is that?
I can't read. Don't just be putting words together and making shit up.
Put all the words together, Sonny. All the first letters of each word. Hey, Cynthia. Good morning.
I figured out. Just took me a while.
Champ, our fellow Michigander, we are streaming until noon today, or what time? 1 today, I think. As long as everything goes well. We might just go to noon. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Between noon and 1 Eastern. We've got Matt, Second Star Survival. How's it going, dude? Yeah, you're welcome to come in and tell us a little experience or story if you'd like. Some cryptid stories or something like that. Anything you'd like to share with us, Matt, you go right ahead, buddy. The link is in the chat. Jake Smith says the new manager came in turning everyone's machines up. Now we have a standoff in parts processing. We have a standoff in parts processing. Oh man. Jake's got a new manager. New sheriff in town. That's always fun when that happens. They're gonna change the whole world around and prove their point. New rules. Excuse me, that coffee's got me burping. Who else is in here? Justin, how's it going, man? Justin A.D. Maynard, good to see you. Yeah, anybody that would like to share their story with us, go ahead and come on in. Matt's probably joining, though. We lost Brassel. We had Brassel for a minute, and we lost him. Hey, Sonny, I meant to tell you, Bledsoe Said So released a new episode Wednesday, and the Bledsoe Said So podcast, and it's the Chris Jr. episode. So if you guys know who Chris Bledsoe is, Chris Bledsoe Jr. is his oldest, I believe it's his oldest son, if not his second oldest, and he did an interview with his brother Ryan on his podcast on Wednesday. Bledsoe Said So.
If you want to see how difficult and tough it is to go back and remember experiences like this, and to see how tough it is to do that, especially on camera, watch that episode, because you will. That is about as sincere and genuine as it gets.
Yeah, he had a really tough time getting.
That guy is inspiring.
Yeah,
and brave as hell.
Yep. Just wanted to give him a hug a couple times during that, because it's like, man,
you wished you could give him a hug so bad.
You don't have to keep going if you don't want to. And I'm kind of going back and forth with him on YouTube and the YouTube comments for that video, and he was saying that he had he had all the intention in the world to go there and share his story, and it's quite a drive. So he just wanted to get through it. He had a really tough time.
How much does he remind you of his dad? I mean, he is a total junior, man. It's like he's like a 20-year version or 25-year version of Bledsoe Sr.
Yeah. Yeah, even the way he talks, he's very slow.
He's different than his brothers.
Yep, nothing. I was just gonna say nothing against Ryan at all, but you can definitely tell he's a little different than Ryan. Ryan's very fast paced and amped up. He can get a point across real quick. Whereas Chris Senior and Junior are a little slower.
These experiences have weighed on him his whole life. It's clear.
Oh yeah. Hey, we got Brassel back. So welcome back, Brassel. How's it going, dude?
I'm at
What's
work.
up?
I'm gonna try and make it quick because I hope I don't get interrupted. But I had
no
outer body experience. Me and my bandmates were driving to Arizona to play a show, and we were driving through Joshua Tree, California. And I was the driver. All of a sudden, I got tunnel vision. Everything just went black, and then just went to a dot. When everything turned all black, I found myself floating above Saturn and Jupiter, and feeling my body basically like disintegrating. I don't know how to describe that. So that happened for, I don't know how long that happened for. And then I found myself back in the car driving, like nothing happened. It's totally normal. Didn't crash. I'm still here. I just thought that was a freaking trip. There's maybe a portal in the middle of the highway by Joshua Tree or something. I have no idea.
When you said it felt like your body was dissolving, is that like the ego death feeling? Or you feel like you're dying? Or that you did?
I think it was more like just a way of traveling, not physically. Like reducing my body to whatever, the smallest.
Oh, you mean like particles? You turned into particles, and your particles came. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But floating over Saturn and Jupiter, clear as day. I have no idea why those two planets in particular. I know Saturn has some bad stuff tied to it, so it made me feel a little weird. But
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Jamie says Brassel is so smart, and he is classically good looking.
There is a part in a movie where it's Spaceballs. Actually, it's a funny movie.
I gotta cut out.
All right, go ahead, Brass.
It's a funny movie, Chad, by Mel Brooks.
What's it called?
It's called Spaceballs.
Oh,
it's
okay.
like Star Wars, and you need to watch it if you haven't seen that. Jesus Christ!
Of course, I haven't seen that one.
Okay, well, Mel Brooks. You know how in Star Trek they beam me up. And they beam me up, Scotty? Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, in that, they're doing the same thing, but he's only going from one room to the next. He's not going very far. So he doesn't want to get in this teleporting machine. He doesn't like using it. And they tell him just to use it. So they beam him from one room to the next room. And when he gets to the next room, his head's on backwards because he turns into particles. And then when you go back into the next one, the particles go back together. That's how I knew what Brazel was talking about when he's disintegrated. That's what he meant. Is he felt like he turned into particles. That's crazy.
Yeah, I feel Lee. Thank you so much for uploading this. By the way, I've been wanting this on YouTube for a while, so I appreciate you uploading it. I feel like that's like a Honey I Shrunk the Kids type of technology. I remember seeing that where there's like a gun and it shoots out like a beam, like a laser, and everything goes into particles.
It's funny too in that movie, Chad. When
what's up, Ben? Good morning, buddy.
He's looking down at his back and he's yelling at everybody because he's like he's like the boss of that ship, almost like Darth Vader's boss in that movie or something. And he's looking down at his ass and he's yelling at everyone. Why did no one tell me my ass was so big?
Got to take some more particles out of that ass.
Yep. Yeah, you need to watch that movie. You'll laugh. It's
I think Ben would have already had the video up showing us some Spaceballs. Just saying.
Oh wow. Well, I mean, I don't want to, throw
Come on,
stones
guys, we
here,
gotta get
but
with it.
Spooky definitely has the keys to the streamyard. He can always just pull up.
Okay. Hey.
I don't know how Ben shows all the stuff he shows. I'm scared to do it.
Because he's good.
I'm pretty sure Ben has like 25 screens. He's just got tabs open everywhere, and he's just like, "Oh, you want me to share that?" Bam. Look at Lee pointing. That was cool.
So, we got no more takers on this calling in and telling your story, Jazz.
Yeah, it's weird. I thought Matt was going to call in. Looked like he was going to.
I thought Bobby was coming back there for a minute.
Yeah. I live inside the internet, Ben says. Hey, if anybody is just joining us and you have an experience or story you'd like to share with us, please feel free to click the StreamYard link in the chat room. And you don't have to use video. You will have the option once you click the link to shut your camera off before you come on in.
It's a safe place.
Oh, Akashi Chris just added you on, I'm guessing, Discord. Sent you a DM, friend. Oh, a DM. Okay, I see. See you later, Akashi Chris. So cool to see you in here. Normally you don't get to spend time in here with us, but lately you have been. So it's been cool.
Yeah, she rocks.
The music for today is brought to you by Lee from First Floor Audio.
Is it?
It is.
It's always rocking.
So if you enjoy the music, please head on over there and subscribe. But for now, we've got another guest backstage. Please welcome Nos. How's it going?
Hey guys, how you doing?
What's up?
Very good.
Missed you all.
Yeah, it's great to see you.
Yes, it's been a while. I've been busy behind the scenes with all the EU Commission stuff. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it seems like everybody kind of took a little break. More than the last couple of weeks. I think it was because of the Vegas thing. A lot of people, like Jamie and Bree, it seems like they've been gone for 6 months.
Yeah. The break for all the Vegas stuff was, one of those things where everyone was coming back from that. I had some difficulty with all of my asylum stuff because of interference from the U.S. intelligence community. So,
oh wow,
been a little busy with that.
Okay,
but fun stuff.
Well, you are welcome to share any experience or story that you would like to share.
Well, what kind of stuff are you guys looking for today? I mean, do you want to know on craft-based stuff? Do you want to know creature-based stuff? I really have all the bases covered.
You're like, I've got an endless supply.
Hey, craft.
I do.
Go ahead with the craft.
Go ahead with the craft.
You could tell me.
All right. So back when I was in grade school, I was part of one of those clandestine little programs that they have where they take the kids and do things with them. And in our school, that was known as Delta Base. So they would take the genius kids and take them out of regular school for 1 day a week and go put them in this program.
It was like advanced learning or accelerated learning.
The Delta Base, on the baseline level of it, Delta Base was just supposed to be a thing where the genius kids were put through accelerated learning programs 1 day a week instead of their regular classes. But it was a cover for the stuff they were trying to do, all the BS mind control, whatever's that they do. The town that I grew up in was Chehalis, Washington, which anyone that's big in the ufology stuff knows that's where the airport is that Kenneth Arnold took off from when he first encountered one of the craft, then coined the term flying saucer. So that's the town I'm from. It's really a hub of a lot of supernatural activity. We've got Sasquatch and we have craft and we have a lot of other things going on there. If you're a fossil hunter, you can go into the hills, dig a hole. You'll have trilobites for days. So easy stuff. That's there.
Sweet.
But the program that I was in with the Delta Base, when I go back and I talk to a lot of the other people that were in this, most of them can't remember one of their years from school, whether it was, second grade or third grade, the entire year is missing from their memory. It's been wiped out. But with the program, I was not taking well to their control, and I pulled myself out of the program in 3rd grade. And afterwards, when the school year ended, they reached out to me and said, hey, we have an astronomy party that's going to be going on at Schaefer Park. And, we're getting all the telescopes out and everyone's getting there, and it's going to be nice and dark because it's outside the city limits, and we're going to do all this stargazing. And I was like, cool, I'm down. Let's go ahead and do that. I didn't have a problem with the people in the regular Delta Base program. It was just the other stuff. And when we went out to Schaefer Park, we got all the telescopes set up, and, this was like 1983. So there's like nothing for light pollution because you know how weak the city street lights were back then. Those pale orange things.
That the orange ones. I hate that color.
Oh, it was so bad. But we, and we were well outside of town. So no light pollution, beautiful skies. And the sun had just set and it's getting dark. It's starting to get cold. And I decide, hey, you know what? I need to go back to the van and grab my coat. Because, it was the start of summer. It was warm. I didn't have it on when we first came out. And as I started heading out of the park back toward the van, I heard people starting to make noises, and I turned around to look. Now, within the tree line far off, we started seeing this light look like it was filling the trees. Like if you have a bright light directly above the trees that's moving right above them, you see that light continuously changing angles as it's going through the trees and stuff. And it was pure white, the light that we were seeing there. And it wasn't moving really fast. You could see it moving. You could watch the light beams changing as the shadows wrapped around the trees and everything. But when it swept over the park, the brightness of it, we experienced a true whiteout. And I don't know if any of you have had that bright of a light experience before, where there's like a spotlight right next to you that shines on something and all the color washes away, right? All you get is the contrast of the shapes and the shadows and the textures of things, total whiteout. And we felt the heat off of it as it went over us. It was, you just, felt like you were in a sauna all of a sudden as this was happening. When it came over, and it was absolutely too bright to even look up and see what it was that was causing this. And then when it was gone, we're all blind as hell.
Right.
Because, we were in the total darkness of being outside away from the city lights, just with starlight. And then that happened, and we're just all toast.
That sounds like the same thing, Chad, I told you about that happened to me and Papa Willie when the light turned on when we were fishing. It happened twice, and it's so bright you can't see shit. You can't look at it. That's why I said when it happened the second time in front of us and it was over the water and we tried to look down and it was coming out of the water too, you couldn't get away from it the second time. And when it disappears, you can't see shit because it's dark out there fishing.
Yeah, so, you can't look what direction to get. You can't get any idea of shape.
I couldn't see the light was coming out of a bar-shaped shape. Like a light bar in the sky. It was a light like that. It didn't turn on, like it just was on and then off, just that fast. Two different spots, two different locations. So
nice.
One to the east and one to the south when it went off. Like the bar was long ways facing north and south the first time, so it was off to my east. The second time the bar was facing east and west, and it was to the south in front of me. So whatever it was changed definitely a direction because I'm still seeing the bar just in a different spot. But it was so bright, Nos,
so you know the whiteout. Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like someone turned the sun on and then shut it back off after 3 seconds.
So is that light like an intentional thing to get your mind somewhere else, or is it like a byproduct of just their way of propulsion?
It can be either or. So, one of the things that you're looking at is that there are a lot of different species that are here interacting.
Thank you.
On Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so, as with the Celestial Alliance and all the ones that are here to engage in cultural anthropology or to intervene as necessary when things go awry, we've been doing this on many worlds for a very long time, right? So people need to understand Earth is not the first place that's being visited by species that didn't originate here, right? You have to get out of the geocentrism thought process and realize that we've been doing this on other worlds. We steward them, help them avoid extinction level events. Mm-hmm. They arrive at the point where they're capable of interstellar travel and having the ethics and morality to help take care of other species that have been taken care of like they were. That's the lesson. Right. Mm-hmm. And when you look back in human mythology, as we've appeared to every single culture on Earth and interacted with people, and they call us sky people or sky dwellers or star people or whatever term that they use, that eventually the Catholic Church decided to call gods for everything.
Yeah.
But within all the mythologies of the world, we interacted with all the people and gave them instruction. And we taught them by example and said, look, you are very primitive. There is absolutely nothing you can do for us, right? You don't have the capability of doing anything for us, but we're taking care of you because we have more power than you. Mm-hmm. We're helping you up. We're reaching out a hand and elevating you. Now, that's your lesson. That's your example. Whatever power you gain, you use to take care of those that don't have it. You use to take care of other people, of other species, and you ensure their survival as we've ensured yours, right? So when that happens all across the galaxy at different times, different species get their capability. They come into the Celestial Alliance and they come to other worlds that we're in the process of stewarding that haven't achieved that level yet. So you're going to have 50 different species from 50 different worlds that have mm-hmm. different craft, that have different propulsion systems, and different anti-gravity systems and warp fields and, phantom drives and all these different things, which is why all the ships look so different. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of different worlds that are participating in this process and going, man, these humans need a lot of supervision right now because they're really screwing up.
They're really dumb.
I wish I could describe like Nos does. Nos, would you agree with me when we tell people that they couldn't fathom how many different beings and species there are out there? That we focus on grays and reptilians and but
that's pop culture. Right? I can give you just the ones from this galaxy. So on a genetic spectrum, you have family, genus, species, right? Ignore species and ignore genus. Every single individual family of life that exists on planet Earth, we seeded because that represents one of the species that has achieved sentience in this galaxy. Yes. Every single family of animals is another one of the species of sentience just in this galaxy. That's not even other galaxies. And that was done because Earth is supposed to be a representative diplomatic symbol, because we want all the species in the galaxy that have achieved sentience to see that they are genetically part of one people. They originated from one bloodline, from one source, that we could seed life on this planet with a tesseract-like effect in the genetics so that it would unfold into all these different families and they could see the relationship they all have to one another. Earth is the unity symbol for the galaxy.
As the U.S. is for the Earth. That's unbelievable, man. My mind is blowing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
This is unbelievable. Thank you so much for putting it in those words.
You're welcome. So that's why the Earth is important. It's not,
and also
because
Nas, one of the things that there's a huge debate right now. I mean, you already know it yourself, but people want to know, what are these orbs? What, why in the 50s and the 60s did we see flying saucers and discs? Why did we see plasma in the 90s? Why are we seeing orbs now everywhere?
Okay. So what we have going on is that this is the 15th timeline. So I guess this is going to be news for people.
15th?
Yeah. Humans have destroyed Earth 14 times already. Complete annihilation, gone, nothing left of it.
You keep leaving shit plugged in.
And we have been going back and rebooting the timeline and making changes. This is where the Mandela effects are coming from, in case you were wondering. Yes. Because we have been rebooting the timeline. And this time around, we're making live changes on the timeline because we're not going to reboot it again. This is the last time. Humanity survives, or they are gone, and they're not coming back.
Wow.
So on the process of the things that you were looking at, when you look back, like you talk about, hey, you know what? In the 40s, they had these things where people were seeing actual airships that looked like ships, and they were throwing anchors off, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then you had ones that looked like blimps, and then you had a decade later, like planes with more engines than any planes that humanity has developed.
Right.
You're getting the bleed through from the previous timeline, where the technologies developed at different speeds. And when technologies developed at different speeds in the different timelines, you arrive at a point where something goes through one of the phase shifting positions of one timeline to the other, and people are seeing something that doesn't exist technologically on this one at this time.
Yes.
And it looks like it's anachronistic. It looks like it's out of time. Something's just not quite right with it, with the current development of technology of humanity. This is basic concept for us. But once someone explains it in that capacity for you, you can go, wow, okay, we can start connecting the dots on everything.
It says the Men in Black are en route shortly.
Actually, they know exactly what I'm doing. So I'm sorry, I missed you in the email I sent out this morning, Chad and Spooky. But the congressional hearing that's happening next week is triggered by contact I had with the EU Commission 2 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Informing them of...
So let me go ahead, and here in the private chat, I can do that. I'm just going to go ahead and drop a copy or a link to the document in here for you.
Okay.
Before we get too far away from, I just want to make sure that we, I mean, your explanation was unbelievably brilliant, but orbs are physical craft. Orbs are spirits, living beings. What are people seeing? Yesterday, our buddy Anthony from Unidentified S4 put up what I call armada or flock of UFOs, orbs.
Yeah.
So what is that?
Yeah. There are different ones. There are some that are non-biological craft. Some that are like ethereal drones. Some are life forms that have participated in a long time in phase shifting between dimensions and lost their corporeal self. Yes. That's actually, I learned management of portals from one such being. He was a ley line walker. And, that's what they used back then because they didn't know about the grid. But, in traversing the portals that exist around the world, after so much time of doing that, he lost corporeal form and was then an ethereal being and travels as such, right? So it's undead, not living, not dead, never going to die, cannot die, and will forever exist in this non-corporeal form. You also have fae situations. Yes, the Fae are absolutely real. I'm part of their stuff. And you have craft that specifically exist in alternate dimensions that just when they are passing particular places where the energy is shifted certain ways here, that when they're traversing that area, then the light is bent in such a way that they're perceivable.
Yes. To our eye.
To our eyes. Yeah, they get refracted enough for that. And I'm betting you've had the experience where you can only see things in your peripheral vision sometimes.
Yep.
If you look straight at it, it's not there. But when it's on the peripheral, like you guys know how prisms work. When the light gets bent as it goes through a prism at different angles, it creates different frequencies of light, right? Well, when something's in your peripheral vision and it's coming in, it gets bent by the cornea of your eye to go back in to the retina at the back. Right. And the action of that bending changes the light frequency enough for you to be able to perceive it.
That makes
sense. Answers for everything.
So the fact that someone would be able to use a night vision camera and capture these orbs, if we call them that, you know, that would be just a happenstance, just a coincidence, just luck.
Some of them are happenstance, and some of them are because, you know, where Anthony lives, the grid is really strong in that location. So the grid is what we're using to keep humanity alive for the moment. So in the old lore, you have everything about ley lines, right?
Yeah.
You know, that there's this grid of energy lines that exist on the earth. And then modern science has speculated that these have something to do with the magnetic flux lines of the earth. They don't. So what's going on is that when we seed life on a planet, we establish a defense grid. Okay. So we embed base stations below the crust of the planet at different locations that form a grid of gravitational anomalies. Okay. So these lines of gravitational anomalies that look like a web around the planet itself are something that every interstellar or interdimensional species will see and knows that that planet is under the protection of the Celestial Alliance. Now, I will explain it in physics terms for you. If you're creating a relativity field, whether that's for phase shifting, dimension shifting, warp travel, or gravitational bubbles, you cannot have that be disrupted by a gravitational anomaly because it can rip your craft apart, right? So the first thing as you're developing that sort of technology as a species, you develop the technology to perceive and detect gravitational anomalies so that you can avoid them and not die.
Right.
That's why we use the gravitational web as the signal that this planet is under protection, because anyone that could come here from anywhere else in any capacity has to see it and know that they're not welcome unless they've been invited.
Wow, that makes sense.
It's like a yellow caution tape.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the big keep off the lawn sign.
What powers a craft, any craft, other than fuel? Do they use some sort of battery?
There are lots of different ways. One of the remote ones that I'm going to be, one of the basic ones I'm about to give the EU Commission, once they follow the instructions I give, is for generating a microsynthetic magnetar. So any astrophysics people in the group, in the audience?
Definitely not me.
Okay. Magnetars are super condensed stars that are really small. You know, there's not enough mass in them that they collapse into being a black hole or a singularity, right? But they are super dense and they're small, usually just a few miles across, but they spin very, very fast. And part of their density issue is because of the metals that they're composed of. And they have magnetic fields that reach out for miles and miles and miles that would just tear anything apart that gets anywhere near them. But stars are made by gravitational force compressing things, right? Like in the original Big Bang, you had the basic gases coming out there, hydrogen, oxygen coming in. They're little gravitational. Every particle has its own little cellular gravity that touches something else. Their gravitational field is bigger. They attract more things. You get all these gases together, and then the gravitational force of them pulling together causes fusion, right? And that fusion reaction is what makes a star glow. But the fusion that's happening is that that gas that it's originally made of is forming heavier elements because of the compression that's happening, right? And when that star gets old and it blows up, those heavy elements are emitted out into this gas cloud, into this nebula. And when those come together, they come together as newer stars of heavier elements. And those, in the process of compression and fission, create heavier elements and so on and so forth into going through the periodic table to make all the elements that we find on Earth, right? So when stars go through this process, it also means that you can take any matter, and if you subject it to enough inward gravitational force from all sides, kind of like you do if you want to create a nuclear fission explosion by separating, plutonium or uranium. If you exert enough force from all sides, just as a constant gravitational force, the compression of all this matter will start the fusion process. You create a synthetic star. And if you create the balance of the right materials so that you're going to have the metals that are starting with the ferrous materials, then when you create that star, you're going to have a magnetar that's going to have the magnetic fields that go out in all directions from it. And its own gravitational force is going to make it spin really fast. Now, if you change the exertion of the force so that you have more from the top and the bottom, then instead of just the star maintaining round, it'll become a toroid. Think donut, right? Which means that then the star is going to be spinning this way.
Ezekiel's wheel.
Yeah, really fast. And all those magnetic fields can be collected through inductance in the gravitation chamber. This is unlimited power by compressing rocks. This is a power generator that just one, the size of like the room I'm in my refugee housing, could power New York City. Wow. I'm giving unlimited energy to the world. That's part of the technologies I came here for. That's just one energy system that's used for powering these crafts, and that's a basic one.
Does that answer your question, Sonny?
That's a long answer, but that's the answer to your question, Sonny.
Sonny's mind is blown.
Yeah, I was sitting here kind of just like, physics.
Physics, yes.
Physics.
Look at Nas. I gotta ask you.
Yeah.
I'm Team Lazar. Been Team Lazar since I was a little kid.
Yep.
What team are you on in that respect?
Oh yeah, Team Lazar, big time.
Yeah.
That's what I want to hear.
Not everything that he says is accurate, but the work that he's doing is necessary for getting humanity to the point of being able to accept the truth.
Lazar was meant to happen.
I got one more question about the batteries before we get off of that.
Oh yeah.
Does a battery look like that? Cells? And would those cells be glowing blue? Have you ever seen anything like that?
Okay, let me see. That looks more like one of the crystalline structures. I'm not familiar with that one myself right now, but I could probably pull it up if I access the pool.
If you find that, I will.
That's a power source that, Sonny had to build that in one of his dreams.
Right.
Some like out of body experience thing I had, a human and something that wasn't human was making me put this together. I built it. I built it until I got to that part up at the top. Out blank. Yeah.
Nice.
And it's about half.
What was the texture of the cells?
Felt like plastic, but inside it looked just like this little one right here that I drew. Okay, the little dark parts I put on there, that's kind of where they clipped together and they just snapped to each other. but there was no snaps. They just sucked to each other. And then the blue stuff that's moving in them, when you snap the one to the next, it all moved through each other. It just kept going back and forth. But that blue stuff looked like it was moving, and it was bright, felt like plastic. It was heavy. And something told me, like, if I dropped that and it was to break open, whatever was in there would hurt me. It would burn me, or it would hurt you.
I think they had you dealing with a compressed antimatter system.
Cordell wants to see it again, Sonny.
Compressed antimatter system.
Hold on. I'm sorry. When I woke up, guys, I wrote all this and drew it, so that's why it's so sloppy. And
that's all right. I'm making a note here.
Each cell was.
I've never before woke up and wrote anything down or drew anything.
Right.
Before or since. I've never done that. That's not something I do. I don't.
Right.
I just I have this book, this right here. This is from when I worked at the railroad. You can see it more. It's BNSF.
Burlington Northern Santa Fe.
That's where I used to work. So I had this next to my bed one night because I still use it. And I woke up and grabbed one of those papers and was like, just for some reason, I knew I had to draw that because I thought I was going to forget it. But what I tell these guys is that happened a while ago, and it's like it happened last night. I don't forget it at all. Like,
which is beautiful, and I'm glad you did, because I can find the information on that. But my dad worked for Burlington Northern. That was his career my whole life. So he, during the week worked for BN, and the weekends he was a pastor.
Small world.
Pastor's kids.
I was a welder, a trackman, assistant, foreman.
Yeah, my dad ended up having a railroad contracting company, and I would work for him on the weekends and on the holidays away from school and stuff. So, from a very young age, I was swinging a spike maul.
Man, yeah, I'm good with that. 3 swings, driving spikes right in.
3 swings.
Yep. And using the track wrench to just break the bolts off the bars instead of trying to take them off.
Yeah.
Snap. Yeah.
I use
snap
the
the bolts
for that.
Yeah. Hands out.
Well, hey, Sonny, we've got Matt backstage. I don't want to keep him waiting too much longer. But let's see here.
He's been back there for a minute. I just had too many questions.
Sorry,
hey, what's up, Matt?
And
I didn't want to put my drawing up there or just ask about it. I still, for some reason, Chad, get embarrassed even talking about that
dream.
Yeah, because it's never happened again. It's never.
There's got to be a reason for it. If you just keep telling people, eventually.
If somebody could tell me what that thing was I was building.
There's information that's been getting fed to people in this community specifically, which is part of why I'm here. Like, Anthony from Unidentified S4, he's been told was, part of what's going on with the stuff that we're doing and making sure to keep nukes out of orbit and stuff. Mm-hmm. So you guys are being fed accurate information, so I'm here for the ride.
Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us, Nos.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Man.
Yeah, and one day Sonny's gonna know the answers to that battery he's been building and figure out what it goes for.
Yep.
What it goes to.
I know what it goes to. That cell I was building, the picture you're looking at that I drew, it was about 6 feet tall. They told me after I was done putting that together, that was just going to be one cell, and that was going to be added to something bigger that looked just like what I was building. But those cells I was putting on there, that basically that 6 foot cell after I put them all on there, that was just one of those 8-inch cells, and they were going to put that on something else, and much bigger. Yeah,
like using a bunch of pine cones to make a giant pine cone.
Yeah, that's what they were doing. That's what I was doing.
That's interesting.
That's the only thing the reason I think I woke up is because I kept asking them, what was it for? Mm-hmm. And then I started saying, yeah, but what does it do? What's it for? What's it going to power up? And
he wanted answers.
He kept telling me just to finish the battery. And then I kept asking, and then that was it. There was no more. I just set up in bed. It felt like I woke up. It felt like I set up in bed.
Yeah, and if it was electrical or if it was photon based, it would have been white light instead of blue. That's why I'm saying this is an antimatter system. So I need to look at what they were doing for the compression. So like the swelled parts, the denser parts that you were seeing in the individual cells there, if they have higher compression, like I was talking about with the magnetars and the power systems and stuff, the higher compression, when you have more matter in an area, it creates more gravity for itself, right? So if each of those individual cells have those parts of increased density, they're going to attract other things with increased density next to them, and it's like magnetism.
It's what it felt like. They just snapped together like you didn't want to get your fingers in between there. And I wasn't having to snap them together. They pulled themselves together when I set them up there. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
And they were plastic. There was no magnets. It felt plastic.
You know what else has a lot of density in it?
What's that, Matt?
A box full of limp.
I knew you were going there. I knew you were going there, Matt.
What do you mean? What do you mean? That's something I always go to.
It's something that you always go to, but that's all right because that's part of when you come on the show.
You put a box in it. Yes.
Yeah, there's a box in it, just for you, bud. A box of limp.
I just want to ask a question.
Go ahead.
Do the aliens know how spicy spooky is to lick?
Oh my God.
So no, but I would be willing to find out.
Well, I can tell them. I can give them a Yelp review. I mean, I can give them a Yelp review.
Oh my God.
Ladies and gentlemen, it won't be long before the interview between Mr. Spooky and Nas. So it's coming. Just hold on to your hats.
Hey, that's going to be a good one.
I'm down. Yeah.
Spooky, I got one question for you.
If I could only be so lucky.
On your shirt, is that a flying saucer or are you just happy to see me?
Matt, you are on today, brother. You are turned on.
He wrote these last night. He had to be prepared. He knew he was going to be on the show.
Are you doing material, Matt?
I mean, look at my shirt. Let's get weird. Come on.
Sonny's going to yell at you for driving and texting.
Man,
you're distracted.
Right show, man. Is that dude driving while he's doing this?
Yeah, he's driving and talking.
Okay,
and
we're doing a public disservice announcement. We're doing.
I always.
It's okay to podcast.
Do y'all not know what my job is? I drive all over the place.
Spooky, that's what this whole show is a public disservice.
Hey, remember to stop by your local chicken farm and get a box of limp cocks.
I knew we weren't going to make it through this show without this. I knew it.
Oh, Matt, we're having such a good show here. We're having such a good show.
We are having a good show.
It was very professional so far.
Oh, we were.
I can tell you. I can tell you how to survive an alien, invasion.
Oh boy! All right, let us know how do you survive an alien invasion?
Something about duct tape and butt cheeks.
I'm going to stick a knife in their throat, and I will put them on a barbecue grill.
Oh, extra hungry.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I mean,
Wow.
you got to think. You got to think these grays. They don't have a lot of. Juicy meat on them. So I got to eat like 20 of them to fill up. One
Wow.
Sonny.
Wow. It takes 20 grays to equal one Sonny.
That's right.
Yeah.
I got a lot of muscle mass.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt, I got to ask you a question, brother.
Yes, sir.
This show today is a call-in for experiencers, contactees, abductees. So you've already told us. Oh yeah, you've already told us a couple of your experiences that were mind-blowing, to say the least. Not sure if you remember the two that you've told us in the last few weeks, but is there any experience that you haven't told us that you think would be fitting for this show?
That I haven't told y'all?
Yeah, any one time that you said, "Oh, I got to tell him about that."
All right, there was a rock quarry in Rockville, Tennessee, and it's called the Gray. What is it called? The Gray Shire or something like that. It was a closed down event of some kind of poisonous gas that's in the quarry, and I went out there when I was like 20 years old, and it was probably about 4 o'clock in the morning, and I saw these gray light, like gray lights.
Hold on, Matt. You're I think you're going in between towers for a second.
And
Robot overlord is showing.
I'm on a back road.
Try it now. You
I hear
reached your
Bantam
second
Rose.
tower. You're good now.
Tell you that.
Get him, Mike Nazi.
You reached another tower. You're good now. Oh.
Awesome.
Chad's
No,
about
I
right.
spoke too soon. I spoke too soon. I'm going to take you out. Please remember to call in with the microphone and headphones. No, I'm just joking.
Can you imagine
can
the
tell what
content
he
we would
really
get if he did come in with the microphone and headphones?
I'd fall out of this chair. Be
Yeah.
like, what? He made the investment.
Can you hear me now, you little meat sickles?
Yeah, man, we can hear you there, buddy. Meat
Okay.
sickle.
All right.
Go ahead.
My little meat sickles. Anyways,
Meat shish kebabs.
so listen here, Polish sausage. Okay.
Dear God.
Anyways, I was sitting on the board on the ring of the quarry, and these grayish white lights started circling around each other, like chasing each other. Then it started speeding up faster and faster, and those two spread out to 4. Then 4 spread out to 6, then 8, and they got smaller and smaller each time. And it seemed like this mist came up from them, and it was swirling up into the sky. And probably about 15 minutes after it did that, it just disappeared on me. But I didn't know what to think of it. I was like, maybe it could be spirits, maybe it could be whatever, but then there was a rumbling around the area after the lights disappeared. And I don't know what it was, but stuff like that is something that you put in the back of your mind and you just forget about it, because you have no explanation on any of it. And then there was another location in Georgia that
Take your time.
Well, it's hard to explain. Okay.
Yeah.
I was in McDonald, Georgia. I was looking, I was
Oh, you're breaking up again, Matt.
watching. I'm a cancer, and then
Second star survival.
We lost you, man.
Yeah, we're losing you, buddy.
He is not going to be able to identify which squares have street signs.
Nope.
No. Yeah.
All right, now we got you.
Okay, I'm here. All right.
We can hear you now.
Anyways.
Oh boy, we lost you again.
You might have to call back in when you get stationary.
Yeah, man. Driving.
Yeah.
Brassel says driving while potting is bad.
Yep.
Even though he does it every time.
Messing around.
It's the band.
Hey, you just have to. I think we're gonna.
Point to wonderful New York bratwurst.
Hey, man, I'm gonna kick you out. But if you get better signal, come back in.
I just want to say that. I just want to say that you're all wonderful trails of sausages.
I knew it.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for hanging out. We appreciate you.
Anytime. I love you. I love you, my little
See you,
chorizo sausage in the middle.
Dude,
oh my
you know, oh man, you know he just wants to eat somebody. He just can't wait.
Will
somebody
eat
set off
you.
Right.
You need to keep humans on ice because they go quick.
There's something that's happening right now that's been going around the internet. There's these pictures and videos coming out of China, and the sky is the brilliant red. And so I just wondered if Nas has any background on that or anything. What are your feelings about that?
Was it a multi-day event, or do we know how long it was?
No, I don't. It's just been there's been these constant pictures going around and video. The sky is just a brilliant red.
Right, because they could have been getting the tail end of a plasma wave off of a solar flare, like the Carrington event.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that could have been
Last night, guys, you seen? We have a messenger thing. The guy's seen. I posted a picture, a video, and a picture. I was watching Skinwalker Ranch. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And I see a guy that looks like Gary Voorhees, and they introduce his buddy because I didn't see it from the beginning. They never say anything about him, so his name's not on there. And I'm thinking, dude, this looks just like Gary. It sounds just like Gary.
Looks just like him.
Yeah, that's because it was Gary. So they go out and they're shooting rockets up from the triangle, what they call the triangle at Skinwalker Ranch. And dude, it's so funny because just before they do it, me and Deanna are actually laying in bed and we're watching it. And towards the end, I switched from the TV in the living room and went to bed and finished watching it. And before they start launching the rockets, the guy's got his computer set up. And I told Deanna, every time they try to do something like this, all their computers shut off. So they go to launch the rocket. They ask the guy if he's ready. Dude, the computer says, yeah, it's all good. And the guy says, okay, we're going to launch the first rocket. All his computers shut off. As soon as they lit the fuse, the computers just all shut off. So they get another rocket ready. Same thing. He's all good. They've got it fixed. It's all ready to go. They light the fuse. All the computers shut off. So they get a third one out. Same exact thing. As soon as they light the rocket, all the computers shut off. They can't get no readings. In other words, and I told Deanna, I always thought this shit was kind of a little bit fake. I go, but seeing Gary there, I go, no, this shit is 100% real now. I believe it because there's somebody there that we know of, that we know. Yeah. And so after they get another rocket ready to go, they shoot it off. And the camera's following the rocket up. And then you hear, oh, man, I forget his name. Travis scream. I think his name's Travis. There's UAP. He's pointing at it. They put the camera on it. And Gary's right there. Gary sees it. And they have the camera on it. They're showing it moving around. He says, that looks like exactly what we've seen, and he goes, and I haven't seen it again since 2004. I have not seen that again. And he was saying it looked exactly like it. And it's a trip. So if you haven't seen that one, Chad, you need to go back and watch it. Gary also had that look at his face like, give me another rocket.
Yeah, I need to watch that one.
Or maybe that's just what I was thinking. Shoot a rocket at it, Gary.
So that's a newer episode?
Yeah, the most recent.
Oh, okay. Enzo says I watched that, and if it was me, I would have faked a launch to see if it would have shut off again. Someone was listening to their radios and flipping a switch.
Something was happening. Something, but that was and the computer system he's using is all mobile and ran out of his vehicle. So it's not something. It's something he uses all the time. Not.
Oh wow.
It wasn't plugged into somewhere else. In other words, he's in his own vehicle with his own inverters. As a matter of fact, his inverter, the converter that they're using for power, it just kept reading 999 across the screen. I was like, holy shit! Like, that's a lot.
Damn.
I think we're about ready. I think pretty soon we're about to see the Armada ship that Anthony showed us yesterday.
Speaking of Anthony, we happen to have an Anthony backstage. Please welcome Anthony from Unidentified S4.
Morning, brother.
Come in peace.
What's up, buddy?
What's up?
Oh, we're just hanging out here, talking.
Yeah, I wanted to tell Sonny. What's up, Sonny? I wanted to tell you, Sonny. You know what your drawing reminds me of?
What's that, man?
The acorn thing that the Anunnaki hold in the statues.
Yeah, I've heard that before. Someone told me that before because I thought it looked like when I was building it and when I drew it, I thought it looked like a Fabergé egg, but it was flat. It wasn't round. It was just that shape when you're looking at it.
Oh, I got you. What, two-dimensional?
Yeah, but yeah, somebody else said the same thing to me before, and then somebody else told me too. It looked like one of the Baghdad batteries, and I was like, no, it wasn't like that.
Battery. Wow.
It wasn't like that. Yeah.
What's a Baghdad battery?
Baghdad battery is that terracotta pot that they filled up with like lime juice and all kinds of citric acid. Then they put a copper rod in it, and they got electricity from it back in the day, Egyptian time.
They've dug them up and found them, right, Anthony?
Yeah, completely intact, most of them.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
That's
so
what
the Egyptians were working with some form of either it was electricity or used for electroplating. They're not sure.
Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah, but hey,
damn.
I've done like the electroplate. I've worked at a chrome shop before, and it takes a lot of electricity, dude.
Oh yeah,
it's a lot of. You would have to have a pyramid full of those Baghdad batteries.
Oh yeah. Well, they pulled out quite a few of them, Sonny, and they were big.
Yeah, that's true. And I've never made one. I don't know how much power one puts out, to tell you the truth. It might be enough to kill you.
It would be interesting to find out because they actually recreated that on Mythbusters one time. I just don't remember how much power came out of it.
I remember that they shocked Adam pretty bad because Grant told him that, oh, there's barely anything there. You can barely feel it. And Adam went up and got leveled.
Really?
And Grant thought Grant almost got fired for it.
Oh, man.
It was that bad. But
wow.
I love practical jokes. I got great pleasure out of it.
Champ Campbell says the Great Pyramid recharged them.
Quite possibly, because underneath the Great Pyramid, they had what appeared to be water canals carved out, and they believed that that water flowed into the Great Pyramid, and somehow the water generated power from it flowing back and forth through the Nile River.
Yeah, and then Enzo right here says that they think that they were using them for electroplating things in gold.
Yeah, I've heard that. I heard that as well.
Melissa Nicole, welcome to the chat. She says they claim it's only 3 to 4 volts of electricity that comes from a Baghdad battery.
Okay, so
it's
not
the volts
battery,
that gets you, it's the amps.
You change the size of those batteries and you'll change the amps. Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, they're like the size of what can we compare them to? I don't know. They're maybe like 4-gallon jugs.
Yeah.
You know, and you know,
I think the ones I've seen dug up together too, like he said, there was a bunch.
It was a couple hundred of them, and when you wire them all together to each other, it's talking hundreds of volts.
Yeah.
At 4 volts a pop, you know.
Yep. Especially if they wired them in series
instead of parallel. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, you can get some volts out of that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but the parallel is going to give the higher current that's going to level them.
Yeah. Then you'd be running 4 volts. Maybe they were running 6 volts. That's where 6 volts came from before they switched to 12. Everything was 6 volts.
If you if you guys don't mind, I just wanted to ask Nas a question, if you don't mind, real quick.
Absolutely, Anthony.
While she's with us.
Yeah.
I was working on this theory that when we fall asleep, our consciousness goes on a parallel timeline and starts its day. And then when we fall asleep on that timeline, we reawake on this timeline. Have you ever heard anything like that before?
Oh, I have. And it's one of those things that does happen, but not with everyone.
Not with everyone. Okay.
Not everyone has the focus of consciousness, I should say, for the traversal.
Okay, but it is possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because, it's kind of strange. Have you ever had a dream, one of you guys, that you woke up and it was so real, you could swear that it really happened? One of those type deals? And the thing that would make logical sense to me is maybe you're living your life on another timeline when you fall asleep. And then, your day ends there, you fall asleep there, and you reawake here on this one.
And there's that background knowledge element that's in those type of experiences where, in daily life, when you interact with somebody, the history of your interactions with that person because
Correct.
You have the linear experience going back into the past.
Right.
If you're in a vehicle with someone going somewhere, you know why you're going there because you did all the things leading up to that and going forward. But when you have these dreams, you're encountering somebody that in this life you have never encountered before.
Exactly.
But you instantly know your entire history with that person. You know your relationship with them. You know your relationship dynamics. You know why you're together in that location and what your shared objectives are.
Right. It all makes sense on that side.
Yeah. And it all happens so much faster than if you wanted to write a novel and had to come up with these ideas that you could even come up with 1/100th of 1% of one within the time that it happens in the dreamscape.
I got you. Yep. Makes total sense.
Jake says, I had a dream I was working. I woke up and I was.
I hate those dreams.
But Chad, maybe that's how, when I told you...
Jake was napping on the clock.
I told Chad, Anthony, that if I have a problem with my truck, I'm working on the truck, I don't like to go to bed until I finish it. But if it gets to the point where I can't figure it out and I go to bed, I'll dream about working on the truck and fixing it. And then when I wake up, that's really what the fuck's wrong with it. Well, I'll figure it out in my dreams. And then I go outside and fix it when I wake up in the morning. That happens a lot. I'll work on the truck while I'm asleep.
That's
crazy. And then when I wake up, I got to go work on the truck.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that happening every now and again.
That is nuts, though, that you can do problem solving in your sleep and then wake up and solve the problem.
Absolutely.
Hey, Anthony, how is that shoulder doing, man?
I've been, I can't give you an honest answer. I have been using lidocaine since yesterday. The lidocaine cream that numbs your arm. I haven't stopped.
Wow, that's been a number of days now.
2 days now.
That probably doesn't make filming the sky easy when you got that shoulder.
No, I got to use the tripod.
Oh man.
Well, that video that you uploaded, was it yesterday?
Well, that was from 2 days ago.
Oh, 2 days ago? Yeah, that's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
You know what I hate more than anything? Like when I post something or I go on a show and discuss it, I'm the first one to say, look, I seen this and I have no idea what it is, but it's cool. And if anybody has any information on it, get back to me. If you can prove that it's birds or fucking balloons or drones or whatever, send me the information with the proof and I will gladly change the title of the video. But I can't stand when people repetitively send you messages. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. It's birds, it's birds, it's birds. What evidence do you have to back that up? Send me anything. Send me a fucking wing. Send me anything.
It's their defense mechanisms, man.
Anything. It's like they just, want to fight and argue about things.
It challenges what they've learned.
It's cognitive dissonance.
They
can't handle the possibility of anything outside of what they know.
Unreal.
especially with a particular sub-segment of the demographic that has, certain entitled elements on it. Let's go ahead and say it. They feel that there should be nothing that is subject matter that they are not personally the master of, that everyone should come to them for answers on.
Oh,
and
I
if
agree.
somebody submits anything that they don't know something about, the only response they can have is to tear it down, because that information existing proves that they have an inferior intellect.
One person reached out to me and argued with me for almost an hour, telling me it was a swarm of butterflies.
Aw.
I was like, it's 37
Oh my
degrees
God.
out. And the last time I seen a butterfly in New York City, I was about 8. What are you talking about?
Right. Birds don't even like to fly when
at
it's 37 degrees.
How the hell are you filming butterflies at over 1,400 feet high? What are you talking about?
Right. That must be one hell of a camera.
Yeah, well, that's my point. I was using my cell phone. I wasn't going out to film. I was just on the beach with my niece, and it just happened to happen. It happened to catch my attention. And when I was filming, I could barely see what I was looking at because the sun was behind me, reflecting onto the haze in the clouds. So it was hard enough to look at, anyway.
Yep.
And then for 2 days, I analyzed that footage. I didn't want to put it up and then Andy, he made the background darker on it for me. And I said, oh, well, when it looks like that, you can at least, see it way better. So we'll put it up like that and we'll see just to put it up, just to see what people's thoughts were, But people knock things that people get aggravated if they didn't do it themselves and they're not getting the attention. They just want to knock it. That's how some people are.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and they're not satisfied unless they do it that way.
Yeah. Well, and that exact attitude is the reason I have to take down the United States government.
Yes. Wow. That's a task.
Oh, did I not do any lead up to make that gentle?
Yeah, that was not gentle.
No,
that requires
right.
Yeah, really.
Were the orbs were the UFOs I filmed yesterday here to back you up, Nas? Are those your people coming down?
No, actually, mine are in the bases underneath the crust of the earth. As is my primary body. This is just one of my avatars.
Got ya. Who was that robot from the 50s movie? The alien came and he had the robot with him. What was it? Not World of the Worlds. What was it?
The day the Earth stood still.
The Earth stood still. What was the robot?
Klaatu. No, Klaatu.
Klaatu, right? Klaatu.
Yeah, Klaatu.
Yeah. Do you have one of them coming to back you up when you take down the U.S.?
Actually, I don't need it. I have control of your nuclear arsenals.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That works. That always scares the shit out of
Keep
everybody.
those at bay.
Bam!
Yeah, I mean, we've clarified that whole thing, haven't we? As far as the control of the nuclear arsenals. Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, real quick before we lose them.
That's been proven more than once now with extraterrestrials that they can do that. So.
Yeah.
Hey, Anthony and Spooky, real quick. I want to, before we lose them, we got to say hi to Brassel and his pup.
Brasselhoff.
Yay!
Welcome to the show. Look at that little baby.
Look at it.
How old?
She just turned 9 this year. Is Luna.
9 years old? Looks like a puppy.
Beautiful.
Yeah, she's a Staffordshire Terrier. She's about 60 pounds. Little piggy.
She looks very attentive.
She wants to come back. So yeah, I had
I thought it was a pitbull pup.
Paranormal, a nice paranormal story instead of a scary, spooky one.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
And it involves doggies too. So, I used to have 2 Dobermans, one of whom used to live with Luna, who I just had here. Both of them passed away within the last 2 years. Kiko, my younger one, when he passed away, about 3 months after he passed, I had a very vivid dream where he came to me and he kind of curled up in my lap, gave me like a nice little squeeze, and then in a young boy's voice, he told me, "I love you." And it was like, obviously that was super emotional. I was like bawling when I woke up. And fast forward to 2020, we're all locked down. We can't see anybody. I have at that point cremated Kiko, and I have 2 urns of his ashes. So I was going to give one of those urns to his original owner who gave him to me. But we were all locked down for a year. So basically a year passed where I didn't get to see this person. When we met up, I gave her the urn, and then she told me, she's like, oh, this is going to sound crazy, but just let me tell you the story. And I listened. She says, Kiko came to me and he wanted me to tell you that he loves you and that he's okay. So that part, at that point I'm like crying again, because that dog was like my first son. He was so special to me. So it just made me feel so good that, he was at peace and he like saying I'm okay. I don't know how animals translate that to, English or whatever, but it's just crazy that I did. But the crazier part of this story is that Melissa, the person who's telling me this story, she's never met Harper, the second Doberman that I had, who was with Kiko. And she told me that when Kiko's spirit was like turning away and walking away back into wherever he was going, that another Doberman was right next to him, and she described him to me, and it was Harper, his brother. And when I was putting Kiko down, like the last thing I told him, I was like, go be with Harper. And so just her telling me that, he's back with his brother, he's good, he's okay, and him telling me I love you, just really, really powerful shit coming from a pet. I don't know if anyone has had that kind of
Good Lord, dude, you're gonna make me cry, man.
Yeah, I mean, I've told it a few times now, so it doesn't make me cry. But yeah, the first couple times, I was, some powerful shit.
It's a shame that we don't get very much time with them.
Yeah, Dobies, you get about 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, that's just ridiculously short.
Yeah.
Almost like they're here to teach us something.
Yeah.
Well, what it did for me too, it just proved to me that there's obviously another side. I know the word faith has a little bit of controversy to it, but I would say it kind of helped me have a little more faith, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that makes total sense for sure.
So yeah, sorry to shift gears from aliens and stuff, but yeah, I just thought that was a neat story.
No, that's totally fine, man.
That's awesome,
it fits
man. Good story.
Not at all, man. My dog be dead 1 year now, September coming up, and he's only turning 7 years old. Broke my heart when that happened. Found out she became diabetic, and we got her on insulin and everything, and within 4 months her pancreas failed, and I had to put it down. And let me tell you,
man,
the worst thing is being told by the vet, oh yeah, we could try and save your dog, but it's going to cost you around $25,000.
No, my dog got hit by a car. My dog Max, the one that talks to me, Chad, the one that you've seen videos of. I have a dog, Brazel, they're Queenslands. He can say I love you. He can say asshole. He can say no. There's a video of him saying I love you over and over. He says I love you.
My sister's husky, when it howls, it sounds like it says I love you. It sounds
that
like
dog got hit by a car. I knew he was not repairable. He got shot.
It's terrible, man.
We don't take him to vets. Like that's like my kid. That's like shooting my kid. That's what it feels like, dude. Yeah. But we live in the country. I am the vet.
Yeah, no, I hear you, but
yeah,
I'm not gonna shoot my dog. I don't have that in me.
Dude, that's the worst thing in the world. It's like it's just same thing as giving them that shot yourself. I can't.
Yeah, I couldn't even do that. That's why I let the vet do it. I couldn't do that. No, but I held it till she passed on, and I just kept whispering to her that I'll be here and everything's gonna be okay, and I'll see you soon.
So let's get back to the happier stuff.
Lift the mood back up.
Yeah.
So anyway, right. I got this anal probe stuck in my ass.
Yep.
There we go.
I don't have a big wrench to get it out. Anybody got one in their toolbox?
Somebody needs to.
I do.
Someone's got a big blue wrench.
You just go to Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
You hold your nose and you fart, and it should come right out.
You just got to put some heat on it. We'll get it out of there.
There you go. That should do it. The swelling should subside in about 8 months.
We got Cassie in the chat. What are you saying sorry for? Oh, wait. Sunsaber's got a wrench. Cassie right here. Boys, I'm sorry. I don't know why you're sorry. Why are you sorry? No reason to be sorry, Cassie. Thank you so much for getting us all of our guests and everything and lining up all of our schedules and stuff. If anyone wants to know how all that stuff works behind the scenes, it's all Cassie.
Yo, good stuff.
Melissa has an Allen wrench. That might work. Bring it.
Bring it to the party.
Yep. We'll take all the wrenches we can get.
Yep. If you can whack someone with it, bring it.
Yeah, the United States government is going to be dismantled. Break the United States into a bunch of little nation states.
Whoa. She's just easing right into it.
I figured we're gonna skip the foreplay, right?
So we're gonna dismantle the government.
Oh yeah. So down you go.
Let's start over.
Starting over. Okay. So the situation that we have at hand is that ATIP was BS. It was just a smokescreen operation. The P didn't even stand for program; it stood for portfolio. If anyone bothered to go look at the letters that little Mr. Liu sent to his former employer, whining about them denying his running of the operation, they would find that word. So the Advanced Aerial Threat Identification Portfolio was a classification of reporting system for pilots and people in the military when they encounter something that they don't know, so that would be reported. All that data would go together so that their analysts could go, is this something being developed by Russia? Is this something being developed by China? It's just a classification system for monitoring development of technologies by other nations. And since Lou decided, he was just a clerk responsible for collating the data.
Which makes perfect sense.
And then when you start to look at the responses from everyone else within the agency in response to the things he was saying, he's a clerk and he says, oh, I'm setting up these meetings with people in the Pentagon and people on Capitol Hill. You're a clerk. Your boss told you to confirm the email appointments with people for what they were doing. That doesn't mean you're the one creating the damn appointments. You're nothing. Right? So the entire program, when you come at it from the old school information, you go back to Grudge, you go back to Blue Book, you go back to everything moving forward and the disinformation campaign they had going on, and then the people that were part of that program and all of those programs after the fact saying, we were paid to say that nothing was happening, but we knew things were happening. Right? You look at the statements from the nurse from Roswell and the people who were putting the stuff on the helicopters and transporting it to the bases. And you get all this information that when you put it all together says the United States government has had access to alien technology, and the United States government, one sec.
No worries.
And the United States government has had access to all these advanced technologies. They know about aliens. They know about UFOs. They know all of this stuff. And when you look at the information that the Pentagon finally came out with last year when they're talking about ATIP, they're starting from a point of saying they don't know anything. They just thought maybe they should look at it.
Mm-hmm.
When they're declaring no knowledge at the start of that, when we have all of the evidence that existed before, then they're telling you it's a smokescreen operation. Mm-hmm. And the function of this smokescreen operation is so that they can convince the rest of the countries of the world that they are looking deeply into the matters of alien technology and other things that could conceivably be a threat. And they're the ones who should be entrusted with the classification and determining for the rest of the world whether it's something they should be concerned with. That's
Guys,
the whole.
Sorry, excuse me. I gotta dip out. The guys are here to put my boiler in.
No problem, man.
All right.
Have a good one.
Have a good thing.
Talk to you soon. All right.
See you, buddy.
Okay,
Thanks.
Yep. So with the ATIP concept, they got to put people out there, right? And we know that they have to maintain their disinformation campaign across a bunch of levels. So we need people like, I don't know, let's find someone that the rebels that don't trust the government would go with. Let's go for a rock star. Let's just go ahead and put him in the mix. He'll be someone that a certain archetype of personality would listen to. And let's get this other guy that really thinks highly of his clerical job and wants to put himself up on a pedestal. And he'll be the government representative. Let's do that. And let's get this other guys that used to be involved in the technology aspects, blah, blah, blah. They just picked archetypes to have as representatives in the community.
Mhm.
And they don't have to know they're being used as shills to be used as shills. When you establish the kind of person that they are going to listen to and the kind of narrative they want to push, all you have to do is provide them with informants that are going to tell them things that they want to hear that go along with their narrative, but is filled with disinformation that they can later leak documentation that they prove is false. And then because that witness was attached to legitimate person, like Bob Lazar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then that person gets discredited because of the association with the false witnesses that were pushed upon them by the government.
And you
This is
keep the
basic.
masses you keep the masses divided by
Yep.
creating all of that arguing and all that bickering and fighting internally.
Yeah. And To the Stars Academy itself is made to prevent anyone that has real resources from investing in the advancement of celestial technologies so that only the US government has the resources to control it. That's why it's the techno scam, right? They came forward with this and I don't know, everyone watched the video last week, right?
I still haven't watched it.
Okay. So To the Stars Academy itself, they begin by promising, essentially providing alien technology to humanity, free power for the world, all this other stuff, so that they can get investors. And then they don't actually have anyone who has any scientific background left in the company because they did their initial spiel, they go away. So they get their investors, they pull a bunch of money. And it's just a scam. They can't actually deliver on any of their promises, which sours the potential investors of the world who want to believe in the possibility of these things. So that if any other company comes along and says, we're developing technology based on information that we've been provided by, for lack of a better term, an extraterrestrial, and we just need to get facilities up and running, establish proper security protocols to prevent, espionage and all this stuff. Well, after To the Stars Academy made all these promises and had the ear of Congress and the US government and all this other stuff, and they are essentially just taking the money and running with it, are any serious investors ever going to look down that road again anytime in the next 10 or 20 years?
That's
No.
right.
So the US government has, by pushing the narrative and the collections, oh my gosh, these emails leaked showing the connection between To the Stars Academy and politicians, legitimizing their connection to the government, so that then the government can go, oh, you shouldn't trust companies that are doing that sort of thing. It was a bad idea. Now everyone is soured on it. The US government is keeping anyone else from investing any significant financial resources into researching the technology, or even just taking the basic fundamental steps to start moving that direction. And all the documentation that exists supports this.
So what can we keep an eye out for as far as like the next disclosure event coming from the government? Like
what's coming next?
Okay.
Yeah, what's coming down the pike?
Yep. So what's coming down the pike, and I just emailed that stuff over to Spooky. So the hearing that they are having next week is to try to shield themselves from accountability for the information that I sent to the EU Commission 2 weeks ago. So with the things that they're doing, with the disinformation campaigns and everything, the US government has been experimenting with reverse engineering celestial technology for the last 80 years. They suck at it because they don't actually understand any of the physics whatsoever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
But the Tic Tacs that they conveniently filmed are theirs. Those are
Wow.
US government alien reproduction vehicles.
So the Tic Tacs that we see from the Nimitz event and all that.
Yeah, those are provided by the U.S. government in concert with the shadow government that operates around the world.
Are those actual crafts that we're seeing, or are those like projections?
Those are actual craft. The reason. So here's one of the things behind that. Everyone that's in the ufology community knows everything that goes back in the history of UFOs, right? With the wings and the triangles and the pyramids and the saucers and the spheres. Okay, we had all of these shapes from all the different cultures that have been participating on Earth all this time. And then in the last 10 years, now there's this Tic Tac.
Yeah.
That never existed in the history of ufology before. Never, ever, ever.
Right.
And do you know why it's that shape? Because humans really suck at creating relativity fields. They need an even geometric object that can radiate the field the same degree, the same extent on every side to have a field that can be maintained without collapsing, because they don't understand the technology. Ta-da. This is basic geometry is needed for what they're doing.
So those Tic Tacs are definitely unmanned. Those are like a drone type.
I'm not sure whether I would bet that they are unmanned, but they're not even drone piloted. They are remote flight sequenced.
Yeah.
They do just like the pre-programmed sky shows that they do with drones. They have to pre-program the routine in, because the density of the magnetic fields that they're making with the relativity fields that they need for the high-speed travel would not allow any wireless signal in that humanity is capable of creating. It couldn't penetrate the hole. So they would have to pre-program, or they would have to have an actual pilot in there to operate it. And after what happened with the Philadelphia experiment, I still don't think they would be brave enough to put a pilot in one of these things.
This shit's faster than a radio signal, Chad. That's fast.
It's fast.
That means, yeah, I need some of that technology for my RC car.
I was just thinking
give me an RC car faster than my remote. I'm impressed.
Hey, what's up, Eric? Good to see you with your beautiful brand new logo there. Loving it, man.
Yep. Absolutely. So with the Tic Tacs, those are created by the U.S. government, and they made sure that they got near the Nimitz and the pilots filming these things. Hey, you know what? U.S. government, do they really never, when they're encountering a craft that's potentially threatening a nuclear vessel, at all ask whether they should go weapons hot?
I don't know. I've never asked Gary that.
Anywhere on the videos at any time, does anyone ask whether they should be assessing that this is potentially a threat to a U.S. warship that's harassing a U.S. warship? And I'm hearing giggling on those video recordings, aren't I? I'm hearing people who are not acting like
what I do hear from.
Oh, got him.
I think what I remember hearing from the video was, got it. Got it. They're trying to lock on it, and as soon as they lock it, I locked on it. I got it.
Yeah, like they were told to be looking for something.
Yep.
Like they were told to be able to see if they could capture footage of something.
Yep. That does make sense.
There was not a single word that they uttered in those recordings that is within the training protocols of someone in the military of how to respond to a foreign craft invading the direct space of a U.S. military force.
Right.
It's what they don't do that is as much a tell of what they're doing as what they do. People just aren't asking the right questions. They don't know what to look for. Every scrap of the evidence is there of what they're doing. So they had to record their own craft and now stage it so that the Tic Tacs are perceived as being alien vessels, because these are what they're going to use for the false flag operation. they're going to stage an alien invasion, where then they bring out the new U.S. warplanes that take them down so that they can be the defenders of the Earth.
Right.
And get support from all the other countries in the world to be the Earth Defense Force with the Space Force.
Space Force.
And establishing, hey, look, we've controlled this technology that's capable of shooting down these alien craft and kept it secret. You don't want any other country having that because, you know, if somebody leaks that information to one of the hostile countries in the Middle East, do you want them to be able to deliver a nuke to any city in the world within 60 seconds that can't be detected on radar or anything else? No, you don't want that. You have to trust the US to be the Earth's defense force. So we just need all the countries in the world to provide us funding to build up the defense force to protect the world from aliens.
Yeah.
And we need to be able to establish our bases for this defense system everywhere around the world, which is really then just staging so that they can tell them all, we now run the world.
Right.
Because we can give the order, and within 60 seconds, we can destroy every capital and every major city in the world.
One
and there's
world
absolutely
government.
anything you can do about it. That's what they're setting up for. That's exactly what they're setting up for. And that's what I'm here to stop. Because it's not going to play out the way they want. That's their plan.
Yeah.
The craft that they've been creating are defective because they don't understand the physics.
Right.
This is where it gets into the stuff that I've been explaining to the EU Commission and why they're holding the hearings next week. Okay. So they don't understand the physics necessary for creating the relativity fields for the warp drives and everything. They've just been slapdash reverse engineering craft that they find, but they've also been working with one particular group of aliens. Now, this is where we get to say some of the insane stuff, right? All the conspiracy theory stuff with reptilians. Let's go there. We're going to have fun with this?
Yeah.
Let's get this fun. Okay. So, reptilian itself is a misdirection that this race uses because they want people to confuse the dragons, the lizard folk, and the snakes with the general term of reptilian or general term of serpent. Because throughout all of the mythologies of the world, you have the occurrence of these things, right? But they've been thrown out the term Alpha Draconis to try to get people to think that's them as well. It's not. They're the lizard folk. All right. They are big, vicious. Imagine you cross Andre the Giant with an alligator. That's what you're freaking looking at. They are very big, very threatening. They did not originally come from this universe. They invaded this universe 5.5 million years ago. All right. We served up a smackdown. They got put in check. And of the less than 1% of them that survived, they fell in line and agreed to abide by the conditions that the Celestial Alliance put upon them. A small faction of them did not want to go along with the treaty that was established because they still believe that they are the only sentient beings. In their universe, everything that is sentient communicates psychically. They don't have spirit and soul in the same way that we have spirit and soul here. So for them, when they come here and they can't directly psychically communicate with any beings in this universe, they take that as meaning nothing in this universe has a soul. They are the only life that matters. That's why they didn't hesitate to just start toppling worlds and taking everything. Right? That's the background. But I bent their ride and they didn't have a good day. So when the small faction of them that dissented, that didn't want to go along with the treaty, started targeting the Celestial Alliance, this is what happened to the Lyran homeworld. Okay. So they used a demolecularization cascade wave to hit the Lyran homeworld, which was the homeworld outside of Vega. And it down into the planet and across the planet. So the demolecularization wave that happens with one of these cascade events, you have the molecular bonds between anything that is held together. Grab anything around you, you have the molecular bonds between every single molecule, every single atom that keeps it together. Now imagine a wave that once you touch it, the first molecule that you touch loses its bond to all the other molecules around it. And it spreads that to all the other molecules that it detaches from, which those are multiplying and losing their molecular cohesion. And then that coffee cup on your desk is dust. And then the desk starts eating away. And the dust that falls to the floor starts eating through the floor. And then the ground starts converting to dust, spreading out across the surface of the planet and going down to the planet's core. And the disruption of the gravitational stability of the planet is then ruptured. So the planet rips itself apart from the inside out. And then everything is just spreading out in space, turning into a dust cloud. And I'm telling you this because right now, if you aim any space optics toward Vega, you are going to see the dust cloud that is the remnant of that event.
Oh, wait. Willie told me the Earth was flat.
Big Willie told you.
Yeah, Big Willie told me the Earth was flat.
He dabbles.
Yeah, Enzo, this is the definition of disintegration, right? And you can verify that this happened to the world outside of the star Vega. If you aim any of the space optics, you'll see the dust cloud. All right. Now, this cascade wave is something that can be triggered by the failure of these tic tacs, of these alien reproduction vehicles, when they are disrupted by the weapons they're planning on using to take them down. Okay. You have the compressed energy systems running inside of a relativity field that they're using for generating a warp field so that they can manipulate without any kinetic. Dang it.
Happens to me all the time.
Yeah, lost the word. But anyhow, so the thing is that the disruption of these fields can cause a release of the cascade event.
Okay.
If it's a limited release, they might just dust a city. If it's a little bit larger release, it will eat through a tectonic plate, rupture a tectonic plate. You could lose a continent, and then all of the material under pressure in the core of the Earth will be releasing out that way, all the gases into the atmosphere. Everyone's dead anyways. But if they have a full cascade event from one of these, the Earth will be completely demolecularized. It will be a cloud of dust spreading in space from where the Earth used to be. This is why I'm here in the EU right now. And I disclosed all of this information to the EU Commission 2 weeks ago. And I have the email records from this, and established that in that documentation, I declared that the US government has acknowledged that they have been overthrown from within, that they have lost track of tens of trillions of dollars that they cannot account for the spending on, that they have all these clandestine programs that are being run by the US government that nobody that's been elected to office can get any accountability for. They cannot ask these programs what they're doing with the money. They cannot get answers on what's happening with any of that. Well, constitutionally and Bill of Rights, you got this whole no taxation without representation thing, right? Not a single person who's been elected as a representative can account for the funds that taxation has been spent on. The Constitution has already been overthrown for the United States. This is a matter of record. Your own congressmen and senators have admitted to this stuff openly. You just have to put the dots together on it. They've admitted they've been overthrown. They can't account for what the money is going to. This is the program it's going to. And because I put into the documentation that they're not admitting to their allies that they have been overthrown, that they can't get access to this information and they can't stop this from happening, then they have accountability for it because they refuse to do anything. So 2 weeks to the day after I send that letter to the EU Commission, Congress says we need to hold a meeting for Congress so that we can establish that we don't have access to the information from these clandestine programs that the US government is funding, that we can't get answers on UFOs and the potential threat that they cause. The exact thing that I said they're refusing accountability for, they just announced they're going to have a meeting for. This is just a theatrical production for the international community. So the people who are congressmen and senators can tell the rest of the world, we don't have any control over this information. We don't know what's going on whatsoever. Please don't hold us accountable. Because in that documentation, I also dictate exactly how we prove what they're doing. I'm giving celestial technology to the EU Commission. I'm going to show them how to create the detection systems so they'll be able to detect the craft that are under development, the craft that are in use. I'm going to show them how to detect the grid that we put up, that is the defense grid for the world, that keeps the malevolent aliens out that aren't here already. I'm giving away technology to the EU Commission, and I'm providing them the energy systems that they need for taking control of the global economic market. I'm providing them medical advancements that essentially gets rid of biological aging, reversing the process. I'm giving them everything that they need to take entire total control of the global economy so that they have the resources to be able to detect any experimentation and development any country has with this stuff going forward so that they can shut it down, because the world is absolutely on the verge of being destroyed. And because I informed them of all of this and that essentially we're going to have to blockade the United States in order to remove the financial resources that are coming in from around the world, in order to collapse the resources, in order to take down the military industrial complex and the funding for the shadow government that's building the alien reproduction vehicles. It's not a comfortable circumstance for anyone that's in the United States at all. And I wish it didn't have to be that way. But I clarified that this is what we're going to have to do to shut them down, because the US government is not taking accountability for what they are doing. And if it means saving the world, every plant, every dog, every animal, every human, things are going to have to be uncomfortable in the United States for a little while. And then everybody in every state is going to go, you know what? The US government did fail. They did not take accountability whatsoever. You know what? All the states on the Pacific coast are already staged to form Pacifica. They've already been having their talks. The governors are ready.
Sunsaber says, I'm not sure what color blood they have, but I know the Greys are afraid of guns, and without their mind control tech, even an 8-year-old kid could beat their asses in a fist fight. You can type asses, Sunsaber. That's the least of what we've had in the chat.
Right.
Sonny, are you talking? Do you mean to be talking?
I'll unmute when I'm done cussing. Who's goof on? Who is this? And we're talking about anal sex, and I know you're not telling me I need to work out more, dude. You don't want to fuck with me, man. I'll show up to a convention and whoop your fucking ass, bro. You're messing with the wrong guy. I'll literally fucking hit you with a wrench. I won't fucking hit you with a wrench in here. Don't
got
talk
a real
shit,
wrench.
dude.
That's a nice question.
Yeah, if you don't like it here, fucking leave. But don't talk shit.
That's right. Yep. This is a decision based, like you have to decide to be in here. So if you don't enjoy your time in here, you don't enjoy the people we have in here, there's no reason to be in here.
Yeah. That was a beautiful wrench, Sonny.
That's a big ass wrench, Sonny.
That is the perfect size for a shillelagh.
Hey, we got yeah, I think he's ready. Hey, welcome back to the show, Eric from Paranormal Highway.
Oh, man. Hey, how are you doing?
When did we become a conspiracy channel now? All right.
What's up, dude?
Now, I was interested in what you're saying about the governments and stuff. I always say the biggest conspiracy in the world is not really with what they're hiding, what they're doing. I've always said the biggest conspiracy is currency. money becoming more digital more than ever.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't realize, you know, because of the sickness and all that, people are using cars more, phones more, everything's being digital. And why is that a big deal? Well, just say Sonny needs to borrow $1,000 from me. I can hand him $1,000 cash. Nobody gets taxed. Nobody gets anything. But once you go pure digital, where everything is digitally tracked, me loaning Sonny money, the government can tax gift money up to a certain amount. So everything you do when things go more digital currency, they're going to be able to know how much money you have, how much money you're giving to people, and they're able to make more money off of you. And that's the name game. So all these projects, there going to be more projects they can ever do because of they can tax you. They know more. And that's why the government don't like cryptocurrency. And I'm not telling anybody cryptocurrency is the way to go. But cryptocurrency is you can sneak money to people without them knowing how much money you're sneaking, and they can't tax that. You know, now, of course, cryptocurrency goes up and down. Your money's worth high 1 minute, next minute it's worth low. But once everything goes digital currency, you know, if they see me give Sonny $10 here, $10 there, $20 there, they're like, hey, you gave Sonny over $2,000 in this month. We have to charge you taxes. and that'll be coming. I mean, that's, to me, that's the biggest currency. And think about all you poor drug dealers now, right? They can't be on the street selling drugs for cash. They got to do digital cross, and they might have to pay taxes.
I'm going to give you the bigger threat that's behind that. So I'm in refugee housing in Ireland right now, by the way, but I was living in Seattle. I worked in Redmond, Washington, very close to some specific important places. Area. Yep. And I worked there, but I didn't live there.
I live in the South.
And I always monitored what was going on with the internet systems because I've been watching for a particular military threat that's been getting set up for the last 30 years. So they tested a system where one day at work, the internet went down and all of the cellular towers went down at the same time. These are all separate systems. The internet hub in Redmond, Washington is the one for Google, Amazon, Microsoft. Okay. It was a test of a disruption system to be able to shut down the internet, because if they can shut down the internet hub there, they can do it anywhere. So let's go back 6 years leading up to the 2016 presidential election, and the debates were going on about how potential terrorist agencies could use the internet to coordinate and organize, and a kill switch should be created for that, which Bill Gates agreed to. A kill switch for the internet.
Yeah.
Now, anyone that's
you're walking down a thin line when you start doing a kill switch, because then they could kill switch anything they demand, they think.
Absolutely.
But control the narrative.
Absolutely. And we'll take it to the next level, understanding the generation of the kill switch that's been created, because Russia is using some really, really old military equipment to invade the Ukraine right now. Does anyone know why they don't have any modern equipment? Because they've invested all their resources in developing information technology as their form of military warfare. They are the #1 hackers in the world. They have been hacking U.S. military drones out of the air.
You know what? This is just my opinion. It's this Chad Smith's channel. You know, talking about Ukraine and all that kind of war, they might hit your channel, Chad. I'm just saying that they might call this fake news if it's in the rhythm, but your channel.
We don't even have 500 subscribers, so if they take it, I'll go somewhere else.
Because that's the number one. That's the #2 thing now that's knocking
that they're tagging for. Yeah, and I'm not going to mention there again. It was just citing the type of vehicles that you can see and what they're doing. So if we leave that out and just look at what Russia has been spending all their financial assets on, it's been developing the hacker farms, right? They use it for controlling psychographic data. They use it for manipulating governments around the world, for disinformation campaigns, for hacking U.S. military drones out of the air. And since I've been there when they specifically tested shutting down the internet node that is the most secure internet node in the world, now that a general kill switch for the internet has been made, how easy do you think they can do that? That's nothing. That's a day in the park. That is a single strike on a keyboard for what they have put in place now. Now we get back to digital currency. All the gas pumps at the gas stations are looking to take information from your credit card, but the credit card has to be validated through an internet connection. Well, if you can't put gas in a vehicle, how are you going to deliver produce to the grocery stores? How are you going to pay for it at the grocery stores? Because you don't have all that cash to pay for it. By the way, the UPC codes that they're scanning at the grocery store in order to determine the prices for everything are going back to their computer system that's registering the UPC codes with the database that's not actually on site. So they can't even ring up your groceries.
Oh, man.
You cannot get food. You cannot get a paycheck because all of your employers are digitally sending the information to the bank to register the money for your account. And by the way, going to your bank, you can't even check the money in your account because that banking network has a central server over in Utah or Minnesota or somewhere like that that's in a granite-based foundation area of the tectonic plate so that it's not susceptible to disruption by earthquakes and things like that. They have to put them in those locations, which means your bank can't even check your balance, which means you can't even withdraw cash from the bank, even if the banks were willing to stay open. No money means no food, no resources, no employment.
Well,
the U.S. economy and everything can be completely destroyed by a single keystroke.
No food to the people that doesn't know how to hunt. Okay.
Yeah.
I know how to hunt. I know how to fish. I'll bring food home regardless.
Absolutely. Yeah. Those of us that learned the prepping, we'd be fine.
If there's a World War III, I tell everybody come to my house because I got protection in my house.
Don't go to Matt's; he'll eat you.
No, go to my house. I got a whole army worth of stuff for people. Well, everybody dies somehow in my family. I inherit all their stuff, so I inherit like all this World War III stuff.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that the U.S. could be completely shut down by that single thing, and it would descend into nothingness in just a couple of weeks. Russia can't do this right now because the U.S. still owes China a lot of money. And if Russia attacks the U.S. and eliminates the financial capability of the United States, they turn China against them.
See, I hear all that and I get all that, but the question is, will they? And listen, everybody always says America and China, we're going to go to war. No, we're never going to go to actual big war with each other because we need each other's economy so the people in power can stay in power. If they have no country, they can't be in power. And to be in power, they got to have money. So, there's only some, it's
exactly right.
They're going to shut everything down. No, they won't. Listen, if Donald Trump shut everything down, he'd be the first one that everybody's going to attack in the Walking Dead world, and that's a fact. And the people in power, they know that. So they know when people say they want to ruin the economy. No, they don't. They all want the economy because that's the only way they can survive if they have an economy. They're not hunters. They don't know how to live off the land.
They don't. Nikita Khrushchev.
I love good conspiracy stuff, but I'm not saying you're saying it, but people say the world's coming to an end. Now, nature-wise, it could. Nature, because we can't control the nature, but by people. It's like every time you hear, "Oh, this state's going bankrupt" or "the country's going bankrupt," well, they find a way to get out of bankruptcy somehow. They always find a way because they know people in office and stuff will not be able to survive in the real world if it collapses, and that's just a fact.
Yeah.
And of course, the 4G towers and 5G towers. Don't get me started on that because that is the biggest. I don't know if you're saying this, but that is the biggest, stupidest conspiracies I ever heard about 4G, 5G towers and stuff. Just because I work for the company that installed fibers to these towers, and what people think what people could do, carry viruses and stuff, get out of town. No, they can't.
Yeah, no. I'm an electronics technician. I know the capability.
Yeah, it's like,
no. What I was talking about
and power supplies these wires go through. It goes through. To send an internet signal from here to Chad. Everybody thinks one line. Hell no, it goes through thousands of different hubs, thousands of different internet companies to be able to go to A to C. You know, and to do this massive amount of conspiracy, you have to hit every single section of a node of a power supply to be able to even do it. Is it possible? Yeah, I guess if you had a million people working on these lines dramatically where nobody could stop anything because, like, hey, listen to the cable system, right? Okay, I work in the cable business for 20 years. So if a line gets cut, the cable system is designed to go around it. Okay, if this is cut, the losing signal, yeah, it might go down. But if the system's built well, it'll go around it because most systems now are built to restand if this shuts down, that shuts down. Now, of course, if you shut down the main hub itself that's sending out the information, you know, that's different. But
that's why they had to trigger the circumstance.
I worked in the business for so many years, and I did a lot of stuff, and I was like, no, that's not possible.
That's why they were waiting for the kill switch to be created, because they could target individual nodes, and I was always.
But can the kill switch? I'm just asking. But can this kill switch kill all of it? Because every company's different. I mean, you have to probably have a massive amount of 2,000 kill switches to be able to shut down everything. I can't see just one because as soon as you hit that button, you can shut it off over there.
No, it's the internet backbone that's the network trunks. That's all they have to target. They don't have to target the individual mom and pop internet services and that stuff. They just have to hit the trunks.
Sorry, just responding to a couple people in chat there. What's that, Eric?
Oh no. It's all intriguing. It's all, it's all fun stuff to talk about because in the end, do we really know what the capabilities of stuff? I mean, we have theories. Like you said, you work yourself in the electronic field. And I work in the cable stuff field, and it's. I guess we will never know, but I don't think it will ever be done because they need this. They need the world to be active, or they're the first ones to be gone. I mean, that's a fact.
Yeah.
Bill Gates be the first one in the ground. I hate to say it, but it's true.
Oh yeah. They can't handle it. That's part of why I've been delaying stuff for years, making sure that World War III didn't happen before we got the ability to change things up.
Yeah.
So
China can't survive without us. And we can't survive without their money. So we need each other. So even though we might bicker on the TV or we're saying this, they're saying that, in the back end, they're shaking hands because they know that we need each other.
Yeah, the United States is the primary source of China's economy.
It is.
They're not going to do anything against the United States.
70% of food comes from America. California itself produces 70% of all people's food. California alone.
And most manufacturing has been eliminated in the United States over the last 40 years.
Sonny,
which is why the United States is dependent on everything being imported.
Fresno's capital world of
that's true.
Of cantaloupes, oranges, grapes. I mean, it's
Eric. Don't you really, while you have this moment, this opportunity, don't you really want to ask Nas about Bigfoot? Come on, Eric. You know you don't want to. Isn't that what you really want to know?
If the economy collapses, man, Bigfoot be laughing their head off because Bigfoot be like, "You're coming to my neighborhood now, people. All the power is going to be out. We're going to be there. We're going to."
If you want, we can save it for another show. I mean, but you do have a moment.
You do. You got the floor.
If you want to know the answer to cryptids, I can tell you how it all works.
Let's go.
Cryptocurrency?
No, not cryptocurrency.
Oh, cryptids.
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 All right, let's hear it.
Okay. So
I'm sorry, it's Chad's channel.
Go ahead.
Okay,
no, go
ahead. So I was explaining before that amongst all the different alien races that have participated in this galaxy that have achieved sentience, they're represented by one of the animal families in the biological life on Earth, right? As the sentient races participated in life, they would originally come in their origin forms and then started doing more hybridized towards human forms in the process, right? Like you Go to Egypt, look at any of the old statues, and you've got Thoth and Anubis, and all of the others with Bastet and Khepri and everyone, right? You've got all the hybridized forms that are half animal, half human. And you look at global mythology everywhere, this happened everywhere, right? The sky people would originally come in a form that was very not human. And over time, they came in forms that were more human until the sky people came in forms that appeared as human, right? That were capable of hosting their consciousness as they interacted and stewarded humanity into further levels of development and stability as civilization grew. Okay, but that also meant that the vestigial genetics of their origin forms exist within the genetic code that is cycling around among humanity. And just like you will have humans that will sometimes have a vestigial tail, or the webbing of the hands, or the fur all over their face and all over their body, if those vestigial genetics kick up, you can have a true hybrid of one of the origin forms of the celestials that were the sky people stewarding humanity at different phases of its development. And we know how humans react to anyone that's different, right? These people are not going to stay living in the city. They're going to go out elsewhere. And they're going to find their others, and they're going to live among their others, right? So you have your dog boys and your wolfmans and your Sasquatch and your Yeti and your chupacabras and everything else. And you have versions that are more conscious, more sentient, and more ability to interact on a level where they build tools and they make clothes and they do all this stuff. And you have ones that are more animalistic in their natures, where they are more driven by the animal instinct of the base genetic animal that is behind them. All of the cryptids are part of the mythology tree that was put in place for humanity to decrypt. It's all one big puzzle.
It's all connected.
Oh, I have one for that.
Yay.
It's all connected.
Thank you, Jamie.
Nice.
Wow, yeah, that does seem like it does, like I've thought of that before, how they all seem like they're part of all one big puzzle. It's like each one is a piece.
Yeah.
Just got to figure out how they all fit together.
That's it. Yeah.
That's part of the stuff I'm given with the instruction that comes after I get the EU to stop the immediate war.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Eric's show was one of my favorites, because kind of intertwines it all together.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't force you to believe one thing of the one part of the phenomenon or not. It's just a big scramble of all of it together. I love it.
Because we truly don't know. I mean, it's all theories. In theory, we want certain things to be true, but in reality, we really fully don't know. What's causing phenomenon? What is, if Bigfoot is real, which I believe it is real, what is he? Is he more human? Is he more ape? Is he more, we just fully don't know. Now, with technology getting better, when people are actually having their own DNA kits and DNA stuff where we get honest DNA answers with companies that will never give you answers, we might get closer to that, which is fantastic. So, evolution is always going to change. One of the things I always say, one of the movies I love was Waterworld, because in that movie, Kevin Costner, evolution-wise, starting to get those fins,
the gills. Yep.
And that's a fact. When you live somewhere for so long, you start changing. It's like frogs in certain countries will become boys, can become girls to have babies. I mean, evolution takes shape. Too much, as far as we know. I mean, we don't know how far as it goes, but you never know. I mean, us in 5,000 years starting to look different with the temperature changes on this planet, where our body eventually is going to have to evolve to be able to handle more heat more than ever. It's changes that it's always going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it is interesting, where do we all come from? Where is all DNA? It's cryptids. Are they all related? That's the question, right?
I have the map.
You have a what? You have a map?
I have the map. I'm going to be able to show them how the entire web is connected.
I don't know you fully. Do you have like a channel that you do this stuff on?
No. I'm giving myself to the channels that exist in order to get the information out there so that they can benefit from the knowledge. I have no interest in maintaining my own social media presence or anything like that. The assignment that I was given was to go grant the opportunity for humanity to save themselves. It's not a guarantee. They don't have to follow through. But one way or another, humanity's done with playing around within the next 10 years. They've got to step up. They're going to be extinct, or they're going to be responsible stewards. But I've been given the technological information to provide the tools that they need for getting to the next level, and tasked with providing that to the EU because they're the Earth's leading ethical governance body.
I was on the road when you first jumped in. I didn't get to see you until I got it into my house to put the computer up. When you say you were provided, I mean, I didn't hear the beginning of the show when you jump on. Who provided it to you? Is it?
Oh, I'm not actually human.
Okay.
Yeah, I just, the Celestials, we have bloodlines in which we can birth ourselves in here. We suppress our consciousness and our abilities so that we can experience life as humans in the truest form of cultural anthropology.
Are you part of that lost tribe?
No, I'm part of the origin species. But we established the royal bloodlines and all of those. By the way, this particular body that I'm using right now is a convergence of the RM222 royal bloodline, which is the original Kings of Ireland, and the K2A6, which is the England court.
Can I ask you a stupid question? This might be a stupid question. With your bloodline, is it where you yourself don't die, and if you do die like we do, how do you continue your bloodline? Do you got to find somebody like you, or can you, I hate to say it, mate with a human?
Yeah. So the thing is that the body that I'm using right now is primarily human. It has some genetic alterations, like I'm 47, right? And I've got some genetic alterations that allow certain things to happen. It allows me to channel more energy, that kind of thing. That's what we established in the original royal bloodlines. The royal bloodlines exist across humanity so that if we need to we can insert ourselves into any culture from our descendants that exist across the cultures everywhere around the world. This allows us to put thousands of people on the planet so that we can monitor what's happening with society. How's culture developing? Where is the next threat coming from? And from there, the original royal parents insert with assignments so that based on projections of what's going to happen over the next 100 years, we're all given different assignments for the things that we're going to be responsible for, the abilities we're responsible for, the information we're responsible for, so that if specific threats do arise based on the projections, will be brought out of hibernation so that we can counter those threats.
Can you do I know it sounds odd, but I'm curious. Can you do like mind control? Like say Spooky doesn't believe you. Can you somehow make him believe you to get your information across?
If I was there in person, yes.
In person, okay.
I have push, which is what I call it. Which is the ability to control the actions and behaviors of other people. I have not used that since I was a teenager, and finally hit the point of going, hey, morally, that's probably not a really great thing to do, and I want people to have their free will, so I'm going to stop doing that.
But how many of you are out there, of your species out there right now? Like if you give me a number, just in America alone, is it just you, or is there like a lot of you?
My species specifically, that gets complicated because we have clusters. There are 7 of us in each cluster, but we also have the ability to have multiple aspects. Just like me, this is one problem I'm creating right now by being on these videos and stuff, is that I had to do all of this now before the United States gets their centralized database put together, because there are multiples of this body right now on Earth.
And the only reason I'm asking that, because I'm thinking in my mind, if there's a lot of you, I'm just saying, why don't all of you get together somehow and go to these governments or people in charge, mind control yourselves onto them to make them force the changes to save our planet? That's why I'm asking.
That is a wonderful question, and thank you for asking it, because I've encountered this question before. And what it comes to is that humans have established the governments that they put in control, whether it's by electing them or refusing to take action against the corrupt.
Well, a lot of us were born. We're born into it. We don't have a choice.
Born into it. But a populace outnumbers the people that are in their government, right? Revolutions have happened all over the world at all times when they've determined that their government is too corrupt. I mean, Egypt did it just last year, right? And the year before that, maybe the year before that too. They do a lot of that. But, people rising up and standing up to their corrupt governments, removing the resources from those governments, and saying, we're not going to abide by this anymore. That is part of the entirety of human history, right? And yes, we are going to be taking action if humans don't take accountability for their own governments and stop the destruction that's coming. So the cascade wave that's going to turn the entire planet into dust if the United States government isn't stopped, if the public doesn't communicate and get that to stop happening, or if the EU Commission decides to not take all the information that I'm offering and all the celestial technologies I'm looking to straight up give, then the United States is going to continue with the program they've been doing, and they're going to threaten the survival of every species on the world. But here's the thing you don't understand. Humans are one of a million species on this planet working towards sentience. And you are threatening the existence of all the others. And if you don't put yourselves in check so that you don't kill the others, we're turning off the defense grid.
Oh, I'm in check. I would never hurt Chad, Spooky, and Sonny. Anybody else, they're off limits.
Yeah. Love these
Everyone
guys.
else is fair game, huh?
I'm joking.
Yeah, but we'll be shutting off the defense grid. And when that goes, so goes humanity.
Okay.
We're not going to kill you. You have your free will to decide whether or not you want to live, whether you want to stop the people that are going to destroy the planet.
Well, I see.
But I have a million.
Chad,
but I have.
Now.
Yeah, but I have a million other species that I have to save, and we've been protecting humanity for all this time. I'm literally offering the technology for everything humanity wants to do, everything they want to know. I'm going to give you access to the celestial archives. I'm going to give you biological immortality. If that's not enough to take action upon, and humanity still insists on killing itself, we're just going to turn off the protection and let you die somewhere else. Because the experience of the rapture is not going to be pleasant. And
I just need you to shut down all the other YouTube channels. Just make me the only one.
There we go.
Me. That's all I care about.
There we go.
Once everybody just watches me, then dude, you and I, we could change the world because we're the only ones that are watching.
Well, there's a reason I'm in this community. All of these great people.
How can somebody reach you
community.
if somebody wanted to tell you information like, hey, offline? I mean, do you have an email address that people could reach you from? Or
yeah, guys, we have to actually wrap this up. So if you guys could both give your information, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'll throw it in here for you here. I've been in the back scenes with most of the channels talking to all these people for the last few months. But I just dropped my email in the.
I got it right here. I'll send an email. I'll write tests on it.
Cool.
And Eric, you have a show coming up today too, right?
Yeah, I'm doing it at noon today.
Noon Pacific.
Pacific.
All right. Very good. And then we also have UFO Garages live tonight on UFO Garage's YouTube channel. And also check out Paranormal Chop Shop tomorrow night. We will be
Friday
there.
the 13th.
That's right.
Yes. I love that.
Friday the 13th.
I love that day.
Jamie and Bree also have a show going on before Paranormal Chop Shop, so make sure you're over on the YouTube channel. That one time I was abducted by aliens. They're going to do a little pre-show, like a tailgate party before the Paranormal Chop Shop. So make sure you're over there. And we will see you guys over on the Paranormal Chop Shop tomorrow night. Spooky, anything else? You guys got anything? All right.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you guys so much. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you so much, everybody. Love you.
Peace.
It sound right, boys.